Yo, check it. Yo, check.
Okay.
Check it. Yo.
Can you hear yourself?
I love my voice, dude.
And we're going to start with that.
Yeah. Tell you, dude.
I'll tell you, brother. You want to give a quick mic check?
Mic check, mic check.
There we go, baby. All right. Here we go. Let's do this. Man, oh man, of Shevitz. How you doing, Rick?
Good, dude. You got a little setup in here.
Thank you, bro.
It's cooler than the Instagram looks. Got all kinds of stuff in here. It's cool. It's cool.
What are you saying about my Instagram? You don't like it?
No, I do. I'm just saying to actually really feel the vibe, dude. I'm here, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's kind of like you go to the Grand Canyon, you're like, I made it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's so true. It's like pictures only tell, just a little bit of the story. But when you actually go somewhere and you get to experience it, right?
When I walked in, I was like, this is like the first time I went to Hawaii. You know?
well, thank you very much, good sir.
I'm pretty sure that's our reels. That's the 15 seconds.
Seriously, straight up, dog. All right, so real quick for people just tuning in, why don't you do a brief introduction, who you are, what you do, and
me?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Cool. Okay, my name's Rick Thorne. I'm known as the Biker in Black. I named myself that from Johnny Cash's Man in Black.
Yes.
But I couldn't be the Man in Black because he's a Man in Black, so I'm the Biker in Black. I have a band called Good Guys in Black, which is a spawn of Biker in Black. Oh, see the connection? I also do a cooking show with my son called Cooking with the Thornes. I do TV show. I do movies. I do a podcast of my own.
Nice.
Called the Rick Thorne Show. I'm a pretty busy dude, but in this day and age, you could create anything on your own. Yeah. Why not?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm pretty busy all the time.
Dude, that's that is incredible, right? And kind of what you said is like in this day and age, you can do whatever you want. You have the ability to do anything at your fucking fingertips.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no excuses when people say, "Oh, I can't do this" or "I can't do that." It's like, no. If you want to start a podcast, fucking do it, right? If you can do it, you can do it with a freaking AirPod in your phone, right? If you want to make some music, if you want to start a cooking show, if you want to do whatever you want, you have the ability to. So there's really no excuses. Is that always who you have been? Like Rick, has he always been this just determined person and just constantly
different
moving?
stuff? Well, I think to comment on what you said as well, you're able to do all those different things now because of technology.
Yes.
It's not to say that you couldn't do it back in the day, but no one would have been able to see it like they can now. I'm 51 and I started riding when I was about 11. Things were a lot different. Okay. Yeah. And I'm from the Midwest. So to answer your question, like, have I always been the outgoing dude to do multiple stuff? Yes, my interests have been, but that didn't really start to happen until I had mastered my craft as a rider, as a bike rider. Because then it's like I learned a lot of confidence from that. Like I wasn't born with the confidence that I have now. I've learned that and the self-motivation. I've learned all of those things. And so through bike riding. So if I learned something where I say, okay, I learned a trick. I wrote it down. I'm going to learn this trick. I'm going to think about this trick. This is all I'm going to do. I'm going to try. We didn't have foam pits. We didn't have all this stuff. I'm going to learn this trick. And then after I learn this trick, my goal is to go to the best contest with the best people there and pull this trick and get in this world and get recognition that what I love to do. Yeah. And those were all the steps. So if you could do that with the trick, well then as I got further along in my life, I'm like, I need to start a band. I can do that with music. I can do this cooking show. So everything I do has spawned from that confidence that BMX has taught me.
Yep.
To go in, because like, look, dude, movies, radio, TV, music, writing, they're all different, but they're all connected. Yeah. So then you learn, you have to study. You want to be an actor? Well, it's different than a host. Yep. So then you have to study acting. So what I'm getting at is that for me, when I wanted to do something, I'd get a little taste of it and then I'd study it. Yeah. And then I'd think about it, So sometimes I'm bombarded though, because I had to shift gears. I raised 2 kids. I had to make sure they're taken care of at the same time on top of all this. Yeah. So
it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But, kind of like what you said is like, once you were able to, master the biking, right? The BMX, right? Yeah. It was, a lot of times going through life is, and I talk about this all the time, is like going through tunnels, right? Yeah. And most people can't even get past the first tunnel. Right. But there's this crazy thing that happens is if you have the ability to get through that tunnel, that very first core fucking tunnel for you as BMXing, then you're like, wait a minute, I can do this, right? Yeah. And for me, that was hairdressing, right? Getting into the hair world. world, right? And being able to see that through. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I can do this, I can do that. But everything up until that point, it was like I'd reach this point and then I'd just give up. I'd reach this point and I'd give up. But you find this confidence when you actually see something all the way through.
Yeah.
It's truly incredible. For you, Rick, you know, where did you said you grew up in the Midwest, right?
Yeah.
Where did your story start?
Well, I'm going to comment on one thing you said before I tell you that is everything's an extension.
Yeah.
In other words, like I still ride. It's not like, okay, I reached this point where I ride. I'm like, I mastered that. Yeah, go do something else. No, it's like they all go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so it's just building your confidence and then realizing that like, and it could be anything like, oh, my car broke down. How can we fix this? Not
exactly.
Freak out. And, you know, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, born and raised. And I moved out here when I was 27.
Okay.
But I started touring and stuff when I was 15. And touring back then was like, if you did like a state fair for a week or a car show or a boat show, it's like this before TV and stuff. It's still pretty like underground, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, I started touring when I was 15. And then by the time I'd moved to California, I'd already been here. I'd already been around the world and stuff. And I just felt like in order for me to advance with my body, you know, the Midwest is brutal when the winters and stuff. But there was more opportunity because, see, when I moved here, and if I talk too much, cut me off.
No, you're good.
But when I moved here, I started doing TV.
Okay.
And so I just landed a gig with MTV. And so that's right when I moved here. So I stepped right into the hosting world, even though I had been hosting BMX shows. So that enticed me to say, okay, because, like, look, with riding, I could keep competing my whole life. I did for 25 years. But you reach a point where you got to do something different.
Always.
Because I found myself doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Yep.
And I'd lost doesn't mean I lost the sense of wanting to ride or ever compete again. Maybe I could, I'll sure compete again. But that's why you do other things.
Of course.
So to answer your question, I moved out here then because I had that opportunity. I had just broken up in my first marriage, and it was a decision. Am I going to stay here and live here with these opportunities, or I'm seeing all this stuff happening? I got to chase it.
Always. Yeah, that definitely does happen. And I totally understand what you're saying. For you though, before you came out here, right? When you were a kid, it was BMXing, was riding bikes. Like, how did that even become a thing for you?
Just get out of the house.
Okay.
I mean, like, you know, in the early days, like, I mean, you know, listen, I love my family. And because I'm going to talk about this for a second. I don't hold anything against anybody, okay? But as a kid, you don't know. So at the time, my parents got divorced, and my biological father had left, and he was just gone out of the picture. And so it leaves a sense of emptiness. Yeah. And so I had that a lot as a kid. I'm not blaming anybody. I don't care. It's maybe who I am. I'm stoked on who I am. It's all good. But I was lucky that I found bike riding. So what happened to me was that was a way for me to get out.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm not coming on here to complain about my mom and my family and shit. That's not even it. Yeah, no, but some people may interpret that way. But for me is I found something that I knew was positive, but didn't really know. I just liked the way it made me feel.
Yeah.
And it was something that was mine.
Yeah.
And so we would just ride. And as we kept riding and riding, then I just stumbled along. I remember one day I was in 7-Eleven, I found a magazine. But it's on your mind, so you didn't just find it. Your mind took you to that.
Of course, you put it up, yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, I saw these dudes riding Pipeline in Del Mar in California, and instantly just started California dreaming, you know? Like, that's where I want to be.
How old are you?
I was like maybe 12 or
Okay.
so. But I'd been riding up for years, but it was just around, you know?
Yeah.
And then I got built a quarter pipe and shit, and I was like, dude, this is where I'm going to go. And so I just kept putting my mind in it, you know?
Yeah.
And then you're in it. You're like, okay, all right. And then you start seeing trick and get ideas, and it just becomes.
And you just kind of continue pushing, just like a kid. But you know, there's a lot of people out there, right? We all have, and I know that you're like, I don't like, you know, I don't want to talk bad about my family. I totally respect that.
No, I mean, it's like I'm coming on going like, oh, my dad left,
yes.
and fuck my parents. That's not what I'm saying.
But BMXing was an outlet for you.
Yes.
It was a sense of community, friendship, family. Like
yes.
It was, you know, with so many people go through it. I lost my dad at 17, right? I can't sit here and go, poor me, right? If anything, my father leaving made me the person I am today. Like pieces of it, like just it fucking pushed me, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like going through these situations, I was speaking with Mikey Taylor last week, professional skateboarder.
I saw
right?
that on your
yeah,
on your post.
And for him, skateboarding was about it was about that community, it was about that family, right?
Yeah.
And so especially a kid going through something like yourself, right? It's very, it's just the gravity just sucks you in, right? Because the people around you, like especially like with skateboarding and biking, the camaraderie is just it's incredible, right?
It is. And with I mean, that was all of it growing up, was the camaraderie with your friends and hanging out. And I mean, surprisingly, and people go, and I say surprisingly because people go, you never did drugs? It's like, no, I haven't. I've never done any hard drugs. I've never done any. I didn't drink till I was 27, and when I have drank, it's just been in small spurts, and like I could do with it or without. That's just me. Like I used riding as something that I found that didn't compare to anything that could ever make me feel the way it does, and that's why I still do it. Yeah. So for me, like the fact that going through like that sense of like emptiness and that abandonment, riding gave me that, like, but I didn't know it. I was just a kid, and so riding, we advanced with it, and so it was just dreaming, and what was really cool I want to mention is my best friend Dennis McCoy. He's a pro BMXer, OG legend. That's who I grew up with. So in 1985, when your best friend becomes the #1 pro in the world, and he's the first guy to ever be sponsored outside of California, there's nothing but inspire you, dude. And so clinging to that and seeing things happen for him and then dreaming. And I felt like my dreams were closer and closer. And there's, so it's just like, but you got to take initiative, and you can't just, like I said, you can't say poor me. You got to you got to like use, for me, riding was a way for me to use my anger. I'll just be honest with you.
No, I get it.
In a positive way, because I was angry and I was mad and that was a way for me to release that aggression. But I also was like, it was just so beautiful that I didn't even know that's what I was doing. I just stumbled into it. So then, like if I I never had a desire to do drugs. That's just me. But like when it comes to drinking and stuff, like that's why I never like relied on that. Like
that's incredible. Because if people, sorry to cut you off.
No, dude, yeah, because I'll keep going.
No, it's fine. But like, if people look at you, right, or like people look at me, right, they're gonna think, no, he's done drugs. He's definitely done drugs,
so many
right?
people did, yeah.
And so, and I get that, right, because I'm fucking tatted up. Like I've, I especially like a lot when I was younger, I'd walk into stores, people would follow me around, like just whatever, right, and people always judge. It's being very judgmental. But to hear you say, I didn't even drink, what you said, 27.
Yeah, but when I say that, sometimes people get like, I don't care. Like, in other words, like, let me rephrase that. If sometimes when I say, like, people think you're not a party dude, or, oh, don't kick it with him, or, oh, he's deadbeat. No, it's none of the above. I just, like, I could hang out and go out with my friends and they could have drinks and me not drink, and I'm not, like, sitting over there judging them. No. Don't judge me because I'm not drinking.
Exactly,
and
right?
I've lost a lot of friends because of that. Or like people might not want you around,
It's like so weird, right?
I mean, I get it. But at the same time, like it's just, I remember working in an Olive Garden. And I worked there when I graduated. I was 17 and I got a job there. And my whole thing was I'm going to be a bike rider. But like I just graduated high school. There was no future in riding. There was no industry. But it was small, Yeah. And I remember I used to work as a busboy, and if I talked him into letting me do the whole restaurant so I can get all the tips. I remember I used to make like $30, $40 a night. But that way I could work less days a week. Yeah. So then I could spend my day riding. So I said, look, instead of me coming here splitting it with this, let me just bang it out by myself. And they let me do it. Wow. So people would always say, hey, do you want to go next door to Minsky's Pizza and grab some beers? And I'd be like, looking at my pocket of what I made and thinking like, I got to get to this contest. I'm living in my mom's basement. I rode my bike to work and I was like, nah.
No, you're smart.
And they thought I was like a deadbeat and they didn't understand what my goal was.
Yeah.
And my goal was just to get to the contest, just to be in the moment, just to see the pros ride. I want to be a pro. Like that was my deal,
Yes.
And, yeah, I just remember that. And so
I get that.
A lot of people pushed me away because they thought that I was just like some prude dude. I'm not trying to preach to you, but do your thing.
No, of course. My wife is the same exact way. She doesn't smoke. She doesn't drink. She's actually allergic to alcohol. And she never, like, it's just never been her fucking thing. Right. Right. And she's been able to go out, party, have fun. Right. But it's totally understandable being in your situation, right? How people can look at, especially when you're younger, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially when you're younger. When you get older, it's like, whatever, who gives a shit, right? It's just Rick.
I didn't want to rely on that, like, oh, my body's like in such pain that I need to take a bottle of pain pills and get addicted to that road.
Good for you, because that's the route I went through. Like your father left, my dad died, very similar.
So did you go to the pain pill thing?
Yeah, dude. I went drugs, like the whole nine,
the whole
right?
Depression,
yeah. And it does, right? But I was able to find myself out, right?
Yeah.
I was able to find a way. And it was so many other things. It wasn't just that. It's also because I was in pain, because I have something called fibromyalgia. And
what is that?
It's an autoimmune disorder that literally makes your body, like, you ever had like a really bad cold, right? Or flu, right? Yeah. Your body's like really achy and like just like, ugh. Like, that's what my body feels like. Fucking 24/7, right? And so as a kid, I had that and I didn't know, right? And so like I would like take this stuff, it would make me feel better, but I didn't want to take it. And so I'd try to get off it, right? And I'd get off it and I'd still feel like shit. And so then eventually I figured everything out, right? But and so yeah, that's what fibro is. But for you, you put all your energy into biking, right? And
yeah, but it wasn't because it was like, it wasn't because I was like, was getting anything out of it. Meaning, like, I wasn't sponsored. You know, for years riding, doing good in contests and not making any money. I had to pay my own way to contests. It was just, I love the way it felt. It was just a feeling.
It was your drug, man.
Well, because I think life's like a feeling, or it is like how you feel in life. That's life. That's everything. Like if you feel alive, you're alive. If you feel down, then that it's not living. You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying though? Yeah. Like, to me, that's all I was chasing, was that way that it made me feel, and to be in the moment, and to be like, wow, I'm at like the best contest series in the world. Worked my ass off to get here. Let me try my best. I remember the first time I landed a photo in a magazine, because kids nowadays, you know, magazines are kind of extinct almost for the most part. I was working, and I went to a stand, you know, newsstand, and I picked up Bike magazine. I was like, oh, no way, they got the New Jersey contest in here, you know, AFA, like, oh, and I landed a photo. Dude, back in the day, if you got a photo in the magazine, that was like...
It was everything.
And I'm like, dude, I worked at this Olive Garden, bust all these tables, didn't go out, saved my money, rode my bike to work, learned this trick, like I said earlier, wrote it down, applied it, did good in this contest. Now I landed a photo magazine. I'm going to try to get sponsored.
Yes.
I want to Xerox this and send it into all these companies. That's what you had to do,
Xerox
bro.
It. Yeah, no, it's true.
And then, you know, cross your fingers. I hope they call you back.
Yep. So all right.
It's just different.
What age were you?
When that was going down, I was like, when I got my first photo in a magazine, I was 18 years old.
Okay, so you're 18 years old.
I started when I was 12, so 6 years.
From that point, right? 6 years.
Or 11, 18, actually, but yeah. Anyways.
Whatever, 6-7 years, right?
Yeah.
How long was it until you actually got sponsored, and what did you actually do to get sponsored?
Well, then what happened is I took a class in high school called mass media. I talked about this before. It was one of the few things in school that I really took out of everything. And it taught me how to do resumes, taught me about commercials, taught me about like media, marketing and stuff. And I didn't know that later on in life I would apply that even to this day. And so I just would go to the contest, and I felt like, okay, I went to the contest this year. I got the overall at that contest. And then I got a photo, and then I got a photo in a zine. And then I was able to say, I got a photo in the backyard riding. So I would Xerox 3 or 4 photos and just like a little write-up about myself, and then the stats of the contest I got this year, and then send it in. And then hopefully they would hit you back. So I got on Matt Hoffman's company.
Jeez.
In 1992, but we started doing shows in 81. Or, I'm sorry, 88. And he started his bike company in 92.
Okay.
But what that meant was I wasn't making any money.
Yeah.
I rode for 6 years for free for his company. The industries just weren't very lucrative.
Yeah.
Until X Games. But my first sponsor that I ever got that paid me was Airwalk Shoes.
Wow.
In 1992, follow me here. 1992, and that means I rode at this point almost 11 years, working my own way, paying my own way, living the dream, right? To getting $200 a month.
Damn.
And that paid my rent.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I moved to St. Louis. I almost paid my rent. Rent was $300. So I was like, damn, my shoe sponsor's paying my rent. I'm balling. No way.
Dude, yeah.
$300 rent, dude.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And Airwalk, man. Airwalk was like the shit. You know, they were cool.
Dude.
They were fucking cool. Like, and I don't know.
I would still ride. I mean, Airwalk's cool, man. They might come back. Who knows? You know what I mean?
I hope so. I hope so. Okay, so
anyways, I don't know why I even went there.
No, but how old were you at that point, right?
At that point, in 92, I would have been like, let me see, 88 is 18, 19, 20, 22 or something.
Okay, so you're 22 years old, right?
Something like that.
And you said you
still busting tables
in St. Louis.
Yeah, well, I moved to St. Louis and I was busting tables there.
Okay, and so like, how were you getting these like? So the way that you were getting the sponsorship deal was like by the Xeroxing and sending your stats.
Yep.
And
the other one was Power Bar. I remember I sent something.
Shit, dude, I used to love them.
Dude, I sent Power Bar like. They were actually my first sponsor, but they didn't pay me. They paid photo incentive. Check this out.
Did you get free fucking banana power bars?
Oh, dude, they were so good.
Oh.
But they gave me mad farts, bro. Those were so, anyways, thrown out there. But anyhow, so they sent me this package with a hat and a shirt because I sent them a resume and then I didn't see anything for like ever. And then something showed up on my doorstep one day. I was like, what is this? I was like, oh shit, I'm on Power Bar. And it'd be like, we'll pay you $150 if you get like a half a page or something like that, or like $300 for the full color page, or, you know, they broke it down, $75 for a little black and white photo, blah, blah. So instantly when I got this, I called the bike magazines. I said, look, do me a favor. Can you shoot a photo of me just in the news section with my Powerball hat on? They're going to pay me $75.
Yes.
And they fucking did. And so then I was like, photo incentive, boom. So everyone knew me. So then even the old videos of me riding, you'll see me like, oh, Power Bar. Because then I started saying the shit everywhere. Like,
and so you would just get paid every time?
Well, but it wasn't that lucrative.
Okay.
But you'd had to track it down. But it was more like print. Like I remember one specifically, I had the Power Bar hat on and it's just so obvious. It was a blatant like Rick Thorne's riding for Power Bar, and I was like, "Ching, it's $100, bitch.
Yes.
What up?" Ah.
Yeah, but that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, you hustle, bro, and that's the deal. You hustle that, and you learn that, like nowadays it's different, and I think it's great that this sport's like where people can get good and they could do something they love as a career, and they didn't have to go through what we went through. But at the same time, I got a kick out of it, and I got a lot of great stories out of it.
Yes.
And I'm able to still be in the mix.
Yeah, it's that life experience, right?
It's business marketing firsthand. You know, you can't teach that in school, you know?
No.
I mean, you can, but like you got to applying it and then actually seeing it come to life. You're like, whoa, all right. Like, so it's a trip.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. But looking back is like, as you tell these stories, your fucking face just lights up, you know? It's like, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's funny, man. It's just like, you know, it's just, but all of it stemmed, all of the writing was never about that. But you reach a point where you're like, I like to get paid to do this so I can focus on this full time, you know, and not like, because there's a thing about, or a feeling about like people that are artists in the industry and they may feel weird when they get paid to do something they like to do. Therefore, it's not a job. Because I've heard that shit my whole life. Yeah. And I'm like, no, it is a job. Yeah. It's a job that you like.
Yes.
So does that mean that it's not credible because I like it? Or am I supposed to do a job I don't like to be considered work?
Yep.
Even though I don't consider myself work.
But it is.
It is, but I consider it though. I love it so much that and that's always been kind of something that you've had to face and like.
That's a dilemma though, like especially in America, right? I mean,
like a band though, like, oh, shut up. What are you talking about?
Fuck you.
What are you talking about, dude? Like, you enjoy it by putting it in your listening to it and jamming out. Like, you know how much time and energy and money and creativeness goes into that?
Yeah.
And then like if a band wants to make money, they're like a sellout. Like, what are you talking? We get that in the sports too.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you talking about, dude? Like,
it's so stupid, right? Because anyone in their right mind in their situation would do the same thing because, I mean, that's the goal, right? Whatever it is in life, right? You push forward and you hope that most people would follow their passion and try to fucking do something to make money out of it, but it doesn't happen a lot of the times.
No,
right?
99% of the time.
Exactly.
You know?
So, yeah, but like whatever, haters are gonna hate, and right, and it's just
well, it's even internally though. I've seen it with like different writers and stuff. It's like there's a complex through the years, not anybody like right now, but through the years of like. you know, when we started cracking, like, you know, to answer your question, have I always done a lot of stuff? When X Games came out, and I got asked by ESPN, because they saw me do MTV, to do a show, and it was a 4-year show on ESPN called X Today. It was an hour-long show, and all this stuff was new to them. So they didn't have any direction. So I was kind of like, I guess you could call me like an executive producer, even though I didn't get credits for that. But the industries, like we would go into Burton and show how to make a snowboard. We'd go show how to skateboard, we'd show how to bike. We'd start using all the contacts I had to be a level, a stage for shows. So we'd be like at the Warped Tour, and I'm hanging out with Caballero, and then we'd throw to a contest and come back to the Warped Tour, and I'm with Sergio Ventura. And then, so they started to say, oh, Rick has all these connections at these spots. Let's use where his location is sets. And so as the sport started to grow, we were getting all these opportunities thrown at us. And so for me, it's like ESPN's like, oh, now we want you to do radio. So I did radio for them for 9 years. So now I'd show up and I'd be like, okay, I'm hosting a TV show, but I'm competing. And they also want me to announce the live, and then I'm doing a radio show. So I would like go there like locked and load, like bam. And so, but there was those opportunities were given to me. Now, what I'm saying is that when we were blowing up in the early 2000s, people kind of had a weird complex about getting paid doing something you love to do. And you have to like, and that still might happen with some people or some bands or whatever.
Sure.
But it's really just a means to an ends to be able to do what you love to do.
Of course.
For how long you can.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, come on, life is finite. It's a blink of a fucking eye, right?
It is.
So to be able to be a creative, to be able to be an athlete, to be able to do those things and have it turn into something where someone's willing to pay you, right? I don't give a shit what anyone else says, right? Do what makes you happy, man.
That's the deal.
That's literally what it comes down to.
And if you don't do something that makes you happy, that's on you. Because you all realize how it makes you feel. I don't know. That's on you.
You can't control anyone else except yourself, right?
Yeah.
But to get kind of back to your story, right? Before everything started popping off, right? You're kind of getting some sponsors, right?
Yep.
You're like 22, 23. When did you actually see, like, when, you know, I asked Mikey Taylor this question, you know, a week ago. It's like, how does one become a pro skateboarder, right? For you, like, how did it turn? Like, when did you become a pro, you know, BMXer?
Well, it's different nowadays. What state people can see now, and like, you know, back then it was about competing. It was about that set the bar if you were amateur or you're pro and competing with the pros. And so it was years of following the contest. I started when I was competing when I was 15, and then I didn't turn pro till 1992. So that's 7 years as an amateur. But I got really good when the sport kind of went underground. Like I call it like the dark ages of it, because excuse me, it was hard to get, like, all the bike industries took a dump. Bike sales were down, like after 1987. So then by 88 came around, I was like winning overalls. I was doing this and this and that and the other. So it was more kind of like, I turned pro in 1992. It was more kind of like, I felt like I was winning the overall titles and the vert titles and the amateurs. There was nowhere else for me to go. So I figured, like, I'm going to have to go pro now. There's only like 3 or 4 pros at the time. Like
Jesus,
like Matt Hoffman, Dennis McCoy, I think Jay Miron was then, Dave Mara. These are the
these are legends.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go against these guys. And I'm like, damn. So I challenged myself to say, I'm gonna go pro. I'm just gonna take the plunge, because I knew I wasn't gonna get anywhere else where I was at. So it was just the end of my journey. No, I'm gonna challenge it. I'm gonna go. So it was always about a contest.
Okay.
Because that kind of assessed your credibility. But as the sport has grown, and as technology and YouTube and Instagram and stuff has grown, it's different. Is that, like, dudes are pro because they have a great video part.
So once they get like enough followers and shit like that,
or the credibility of the tricks, people were able to see them because of YouTube. Back then you could be really good, but you didn't have the only way that you had a platform to show your skills was the contest and the magazines. So that was it. So you had to chase that.
Wow.
Nowadays you could get sponsored and be involved and be like a lifestyle and an image and a brand.
Like an influencer too, right?
Yeah, totally. Totally. And everyone could see your skills off of one YouTube post or one Instagram post. So they're more likely to get a recognition and be into the scene, and people
so
get a
different,
buzz,
so different, right?
Yeah,
so different from the struggle and the
music.
grind. Yeah, exactly. So that's not a bad thing, though. It's not a bad thing at all, right? Like,
No.
come on.
No, it's
we
not.
want to see bigger and better tricks. We want to see bigger and better bands, right?
Yeah, man.
As a human being, as a culture, as a society, right? But you look back at like the OGs like yourself, man, the struggle and the shit that you guys had to go through. But it's part of your story. It's who you are, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. But it also created a longevity for me.
Yeah.
Because I know
that's it.
Yeah, there's no going back.
Right.
So it's like, oh, I know where I'm from. I know what I've been through. I know there's struggles with the injuries and the setbacks and the divorces and not having money and living in my mom's basement and all that shit. Yeah. And when I treat like everything as if it's my first, I'm very, very grateful. Like, I like to say blessed. I'm grateful. You can say blessed, honored, all of it. Like, I don't take any of it for granted. I always feel like I could do something different, reinvent yourself. Yeah. Look, I was the very first monster athlete ever.
That's crazy.
Tell me about it, bro.
You were the first person to get signed by Monster.
This is how it happened. Me and Tony Hawk, we did an episode of Monster Garage in Venice, and they took an RV from a drink sponsor we rode for at the time, and it was an RV that moved. Okay, so we rode it
while it was moving. I remember that.
That was us.
I remember that. I fucking remember that.
That was me and Tony. So what happened was some dude came up and goes, "Hey man, I like your vibe. I like your style. I work for Monster Energy." And he gave me his card. And I'm like, "What is this?" And they said it was, an energy drink. And so I knew about energy drinks. They were new. It was the new thing everybody was talking about.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about Monster. And so I hit him up. And yeah, man, ever since then, I've been on the team.
Jesus
They're
Christ.
such a great, like, I'm not just saying this, they're a great company. And they've been amazing to me. They're amazing. They're athletes. They're like very, I feel like there's still a sense of like a family there,
Yeah.
And that really helps a lot. And they've always embraced the other things that I've done, from like the TV to the music to touring to everything. So they've been very supportive. And I just think that like, that's a good brand to ride for. That's like that really, supports the riders 100%. Like when I had Backyard Setup, where I'm going to just drop some shit right now because you guys might not know, where they filmed an episode of Rob & Big.
Okay.
And I never saw that.
Yeah.
That was my yard. And so they helped me financially make that facility happen. That's why I had the Monster logos everywhere.
Ah, shit.
So they've been real supportive, and like, just, I don't know, man, just feels like it's family to me,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I totally get that, man.
Yeah, man.
I totally get that. When that all happened, how old were you? When was this?
When I got sponsored by Monster,
Yeah.
I was probably, it's going on 20 years, but they came out in 2009, 2001 or 2002. Yeah, look it up. I think it was either 2001 or 2002.
And so you were the first person ever to sign. Actually, yeah. While you look that up, will you pull up the clip of Rick Thorne and Tony Hawk? Fucking it was the RV, right?
Monster Garage.
Yeah, Monster Garage.
Which
yeah,
Jason Jesse's show.
Damn.
I mean, not Jason Jesse, Jesse James. Jason Jesse's a skater.
Yeah.
But he was on that episode too, actually, as one of the builders.
Dude, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Before all of that happened, what was the moment though? What was the moment from like sponsorship, like where to like everything really started taking off for you?
When I moved to California.
That was it.
Well, in X Games, because like I still lived in. I moved to St. Louis. Okay, so I lived in Kansas City up till I was 22, 23. Then I moved to St. Louis for like 4 years. Didn't work out there, and then I had to make a decision. So, but when X Games came out, first year was 1995. Okay. So they invited, like at the time, there wasn't even 10 vert pros. At the time, I think there was 8 vert pros, and they used 2 amateurs to fill up a class. Okay, and that was vert, and so we did that. And so I was like, wow, like all these years of recognition. And here's a funny story about first X Games. They gave us this remote control car as like a present, like one of the sponsors. Like, you get this, and they give you a bag of stuff. I think I still have the first bag they gave me. And they're like,
yeah, swag bag.
I'm telling you, bro.
Do you mind
Yeah.
if I hit this?
No, not at all.
Cool.
And so I'm like, dude, this is the hustler in me. The guy collecting cans with this bomb on the side of the freeway, finding stuff in trash cans to throw a garage sale. That was me growing up.
That was you.
Oh, yeah. I thought, wait a second. I don't want this remote control car. I don't give a fuck with this thing. I looked it up. Oh, they have them at Target. They're $80. Back then,
Holy
I was like,
shit.
I'm returning this bitch. So I took it into Target and I was like, I don't know, I got the receipt.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, that was my first X Games, one of my winnings.
Now looking back, do you wish you had that?
Yeah, I mean, I kept a lot of stuff, but
Okay.
that probably not, because it was probably just would have went to trash anyway.
I get that, right? So
But yeah, it's funny, dude. But when things really started happening was after the first X Games, and then people were interested, and then that's when I went to Australia in 1996 in January with Tony Hawk for the Big Day Out tour.
Holy shit.
Listen to this friggin' lineup: Rage Against the Machine, Porno for Pyros. There's so many bands there. If you know anything about Big Day Out tour, it's like what Warped Tour is, but it's like the biggest festival in Australia.
Okay.
So I went from like state fair shows to like 30,000 kids and right next to the main stage. And there's like, Rancid and it's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Dude.
So check this out. And I'm rambling, bro, but I don't care.
No, I like this.
There was one show we did where Tony's like, yo, he didn't say what he was going to do, but he just did it because he's Tony Hawk and he's fucking badass. He did, on Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name, he says, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me 16 times. I cover that in my band. I know the song very well. 16 times. Tony did a McTwist every time he said that back to back and flew out at the last part. It was like, and
what?
Bro, they were all head height. It was insane. And we were right next to the stage with Rage playing. We were like, we could make eye contact. We were that close. And then there's like 40,000 kids. And it was like the sickest ever. And I remember going, man, Tony, like, I hope they invite us back next year. Because like, here I am like bussing tables and like, I'm like taking back like remote control cars for $80 to make rent with my $200 Airwalk check. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dude, like, I hope they invite us back. So you had this sense of like Green Day was on the radio and punk rock was kind of back from like, when I was kids, like the Ramones and the Clash were mainstream punk bands, but they went away. Now it's coming back. It's like, what the hell? And then like X Games, and then you heard about the Warped Tour. So there's all this excitement in the air, and you're in the middle of it.
You're just in the fucking.
But you don't know it. You're just like taking everything. Like, wow, if I can get to the next thing, And so, yeah, that was it, man. After that tour, and then I remember Tony telling me like, yeah, man, I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. Back then, because we were all, I remember me and Tony did a show in Detroit at a state fair, and Joan Jett was playing on stage. So when a tornado came, and it was crazy. Like, we were doing state fair stuff, dude, and like different vibe. We were like a sideshow, freak show at these state fairs and stuff, and that's what it was. It was what it is. But here you are now in this moment, like you're going backstage and you're meeting like Rancid and Rage Against the Machine. You're kicking it with them, like, this is insane. This is what I want.
Yes.
This is the next step. This is the next level. And that's where the excitement for me was. I was blessed to be given those opportunities and then utilize them.
Yeah.
Here's an example. I know I'm on one. I'm at Warped Tour. I'm at the Big Day Out tour, and I met Kevin Lyman because he was working with Porno for Pyros on that tour. I said, Kevin, you're the one that runs Warped Tour, right? He's like, yeah. I go, and they just had the first year Warped Tour. And I was like, dude, can I do this year? Because it was like January. He's like, yeah, I'll let you do a couple weeks. Awesome. Sure enough, I went there. I took my freaking power bar hat. I swear to God, I got on MTV News with that shit. I remember I got a check for that shit. And I was like, yo, like, this isn't, it just was like one of those things where when you ride and you skate, which you probably understand, the music is such a big part.
It's
and then
huge.
To be there in the moment, like this energy was way different than the state fairs.
You could just feel it.
I did so many years of that. I was like, I'm putting that behind me, man. I'm going forward. Forward. So, man, I just got real excited when I talk about all that. But that's when it happened. Just hanging in with riding through all the bullshit and all the injuries and paying your way for everything and following your dream. And then it started to hit. And then when one thing hit, it's like, okay. And I tell people all the time, nothing to be hitting, but just hang in there. That one thing to hit and it'll spark you, motivate you. And then another thing hit. And like, just was the right time, bro, for the mainstream to grab a hold of it. And I was there. And I'm very grateful for that.
It's that snowball effect, man.
100%.
It's that snowball effect. But as you build that snowball up, man, it is hard. It is hard. You had to struggle, dude. You had to go through a lot of shit, especially back then, because it was so different than it is now, right?
But I want to mention this too. We would be doing state fairs. Here's an example. We'd be at Texas State Fair. I did this fair for 5 years. I would make $100 a day when I rode. When I announced, I'd make 50. So every 2 days I'd announce. So that means for every 3 days I made $250. We did 4 shows a day. We were there all day. We got $15 a day food money. Follow me. So you go, damn, I just did 96 shows. And what did I make? Like for 24 days, like, I don't know what that is. It's under $2,000 or something. And then Airwalk goes, hey, guess what? You want to go to Australia? We'll pay you $3,000 for 3 weeks. You can go to the Big Day Out tour and you get your own room. And it so happens your own room had like jacuzzis in the friggin' living room and shit. It was crazy. It was another eye opener because I was like, damn, I've been grinding. I mean, no bullshit, like grinding. And then you get that one taste of something that was different. You felt like you were going up the next level. You're like, hell yeah. So we didn't make a whole lot of money doing state. I still had to work. I still had to go back home and bust tables. It wasn't like it was enough to like, survive.
Dude, no, I totally get that. And as we get to this next chapter, I have to use the restroom real quick.
Dude, I talk a lot, so
I like it, dude. I love these stories. So to kind of bring it back before I left, right? You were going through this experience where like things were starting to pop off, right? Especially when you went to Australia, right?
It's awesome.
Do you remember the moment, the very first day when you got to Australia, everything was set up, and you were about to do your first sesh?
I think what we did is right when we got there, we did our first Big Day Out show because I think if I remember right, and yeah, it was well, I'd done the X Games, the first X Games. So, and we hadn't done any really big shows yet. I mean, like if we were at the Texas State Fair, let's say, they had bleachers around, there'd probably be 1,000 people there. I mean, that's a lot for a fair. The way that we would attract a lot of people. So I was kind of used to crowds already, but just the size, Yeah,
way different.
Yeah, way different. And so I remember like just rushing to get on the ramp and just being excited to be actually riding with any music playing live because I had never done that. Well, I did at like state fairs. We saw Joan Jett, but she wasn't really actually playing while we were riding. I saw Eddie Money at a state fair. I saw all those fools. But there was never, we were more over by like the pig races.
Yeah.
That's where we were.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was just like the fucking outcasts.
Talk about hustle. Check this out. We would say, my boy Dennis is the genius. I love Dennis. We came up with this thing where we'd be like, yo, let's finagle or let's work out a deal, with Turkey Leg Jones over there.
Turkey Leg Jones.
So Rick, look. What we're going to do is we're going to say, Rick is say, go get a turkey leg after the show, as long as they give us turkey legs. We worked out deals, bro. Yeah. Dude, here's a funny one. I'm going to put it out there. We rode for Tom Thumb. They sponsored the year we were there, okay? And they gave us like $15 or $30 gift certificates to give away at each show. Now, we did 4 shows a day. We started thinking that's $120 worth of food a day.
Yeah.
This is back in like the early 90s. And we're thinking like, we're getting $15 a day, which is like hard to eat on. 3 meals a day. Like, you had to buy bananas and shit, like apples and bring them with you. So we started thinking, what if we could scam these?
Yeah.
And we'll ask one of the cleanup crew in the audience if they know who got first place at 1988 Wayne, New Jersey vert contest pro. No one would know that.
Not at all.
And the dude would be like, he'd put his hand up and he'd be like, we had him say all kinds of, Dennis McCoy, Matt Hoffman. We're like, you won. And the dude would be like, in like an orange like vest with like a dust can and a broom. And
totally
he'd come up and
that.
get it. And then we'd be like, all right, dude, here's your cut. We got 4 today. You get 1. We get the other.
Yes. But it's
straight hustle,
things.
bro.
Yeah, hustle.
Tom Thumb still got the exposure. They don't care who it's going to, you know what I mean? And so once the, our homie that put on the shows caught wind of that, they got really mad at us. But we were like, whatever. It was funny.
It is what it is, man. I mean, especially those experiences.
Hustle, bro. Hustle.
That's it. But that's, kind of the name of the game for everything that you've gone through up to the point, right? Because Australia was like a pivotal moment?
It was. I mean, because like I said, we had done some shows, but
Yeah.
at that point, I had never been overseas.
Yeah.
And so that was my first time, and I got to go with Tony, but I knew Tony as like Tony. I didn't know Tony as what the majority of those people in this world would know Tony Hawk.
Was he Tony? Because
he's been the same dude. He's been the same dude.
No, I guess what I'm saying is that was before Tony Hawk Pro Skater came out and all of that, right?
Yep.
So
that's what I was saying. We were on the ramp, and I was like, I hope that they bring this back. And he was like, yeah, I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. Meaning that like we were all just like trying to get to that next thing, that next wave of income, that next wave of keeping doing what we love to do going so we could do it. But at the time, I was still busting tables. Yeah. That was the one where I was like, okay, 1995. After 1995, that was the year that I quit busting tables.
So 1995 was the year.
So 87, do the math. 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. 8 years. Okay. And so I was like, I could finally quit. I got Airwalk as a shoe sponsor. I just made $3,000 on this tour. That's going to pay my rent all fucking year. And then I got all these, now everybody started wanting to do shows. Now there was more state fair shows. And then what I started to notice to change is like the state fair shows started to turn into more music festival shows. And then Warped Tour. And then from Warped Tour, there'd be one-off shows. And then next thing I know, I found myself in 1996 being invited to be one of the 8 bike riders to present the BMX and skate and inline skate at the 1996 closing ceremonies of the Olympics. So the next thing I know, I was like, holy shit, that was fast.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Because that was the same year. That was 96. 96, I did Australia, right? Then 96, I did a couple weeks of Warped Tour. 96, I did X Games. Then after that, it was like, okay, we want 8 of each sport in front of 80,000 people in that stadium in Atlanta. Dude, it was sick. They wheeled out all the ramps and shit in between commercial break. It was phenomenal.
Dude.
And we sat there in all these, I still have my outfit, and you rip off these outfits, and we were all same color code. So BMX was this, dressed in this, skate was that, inline that. And it was like the introduction of like these action sports into, so here you are going, I did all that one year. The year before, I bust tables and did the X Games. So it was steps. And the year before that, I was just doing the industry contest and paying my way to contest and, you know, busting tables full time and making money here and there at shows. So in 96, that was like, so then my resume went through the roof because now I could be like, oh wait, I know how to do a resume. That's how I got this. Boom. Now I did Olympics, did the X Games, did a Warped Tour, did a Big D Out Tour. Boom, bam, bada boom, bada boom. And so then you're like, oh shit, I just did Warped Tour, but they did an MTV thing. Okay, so technically I've also been on MTV. So then you start to stack it up, and then you send out shit. And this is still before the internet was really big.
This was that moment where just things started
96
rolling.
would have been
because you were part of the wave, man, that really, put action sports on the map.
100%.
I mean, fucking from skateboarding to biking to inline skating. Hold on, side question: do they still do inline skating in the X Games?
No, I don't. I don't
know if they ever did.
No,
I don't know if they ever did.
But I think the sport's probably still around. I don't follow it, but
okay.
yeah.
Because it was really big back then.
Yeah. It was bigger. It was bigger than BMX and skate.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Or as far as like the money that was in the sport was really big.
Okay. All right. Get back to that. But but yeah, you were part of this wave, man. And so the 95, 96.
You want to hear a funny story about inline skate?
Yeah,
Can I
sure.
cut you off?
Yeah.
Okay. So 96, after 95, we started doing these shows around, I remember I was doing, to back up a little bit, I did shows at Six Flags in 94. And since I lived in St. Louis, I did the ones there. I didn't do the ones out here at this Magic Mountain. And that's where they started to collab all the sports together. And that, I remember me and Tony and Dennis and Dave Mara and all the inline skate crew and everybody. So I became friends with a lot of inline skate dudes. And so as they grew and we grew, I actually rode for an inline skate company for a couple of years called Senate. They were a clothing brand because Arlo Eisenberg was a really good friend of mine, and Tom Fry and all these guys we did shows with. They were cool as hell. They were like, because you hang out and shit, and you're like, you inline, inline. A lot of people, don't like inlining, or a lot of people talk crap on it, whatever. But to me, I always looked at it like, man, it's hard for me because I remember everybody talking shit about me.
Yeah.
I
think it's dope, man.
No, but I remember everybody talking shit like, quit riding your bike, and we had to fight at school all the time, and us bikers and skaters all got along where I'm from, and everybody was always trying to tell me to quit, and everybody was always trying to tell me what I was doing was stupid. So then I just felt like, man, who am I to say, like, I don't do it. It's not my thing, but what kind of person would you be if you stopped doing something because someone tells you not to do it?
Exactly.
That does something for your soul. That's positive. Yeah. That's positive, I got to say. Yeah. And so for me, I just looked at it like, it's not my thing. Like, they do their thing, but like, I'm not, it's not my, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I totally get it. I
felt
totally
like a big hypocrite because I didn't want to feel that way. And so I became friends with those guys, and they were willing. I mean, they sponsored me, Mike Escamilla, Dennis McCoy, and Dave Mara, and they were a clothing brand. And a lot of people were like, thought it was weird, but at the same time, I looked at it like I'd become friends with these guys through those Six Flags shows, and they were really nice to me. And they were willing to, help support me. What I needed
of course.
To do.
It was you being open though, man. It was you being open because it's like, like skateboarding, biking, but then it was like, I definitely remember it was like definitely looked down upon. But do you remember when the soaps came out?
Yeah. Just the Heelys and stuff. And
fucking all
You're
that
going a little too far now.
Yeah, definitely.
No, those are like toys though, really. Like my kids had those and stuff. But like, to a kid, it's like, you got to be stoked. You gotta just cruise around, like not walk.
Just fucking, The fucking the soaps were cool because you could just like grind on the sidewalks and shit like that.
Oh yeah, those not the Heelys, but the soaps.
Heelys. I was too old at that point.
The soaps. Yeah,
the soaps. Yeah, I actually remember my friend back in high school, Olaf. He was amazing at inline skating, and he was amazing with the soaps. And we would always like ditch school during lunch and shit like that. And there was like this 10-stair handrail that he would always hit, and this one time, dude, he just hit it wrong, and his fucking leg went this way, his ankle went this way. It was fucking gnarly, and I'm sure it's shit you've seen tons of times just being in the sport, right?
I'm with you. In '96 though, sorry, I'm going back to that. In '96, that's when the Senate thing happened too.
Yeah.
So you understand that was a really like solid year. Yeah, the injuries. Yeah, injuries are gnarly. I got a whole nother thing about injuries, but that was just on my mind because I never really thought of what you said earlier of like, oh, was that the pivotal year? It would have been. It probably would have been 95 into 96.
Exactly. That's that moment, man.
But dude, Green Day was big on the radio. Like everyone was interested in punk rock. People started dyeing their hair, and it was acceptable. People were getting like, I don't know, like just punk rock was like But then all the punkers were like, that ain't punk rock because it's on TV, and then that's
shut the fuck up, man.
Everybody's arguing, but to me, then I'm looking at your shirt right now. I remember touring with Blink when they first came out.
Yeah, man.
Like we did Australia. What did we do? Australia, Europe, and the States one year, and that was in '97, I think. So I do 1 year of Warped Tour or 2 weeks in '96. And then the following year, they go, hey, we want you to do the whole world with us. I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, we want you to go like to, Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, Japan. We didn't go to Japan that year. All through Europe and all through the States. And it was like 13, 14 weeks straight.
Bro.
I recently just got divorced, and I was like, count me in. I had no kids, and I was like, let's go. And all the bands that you like know of that are big, all have done the Warped Tour.
Of course.
And Warped Tour became like the tour to do. So Blink, those are all the homies. And when they first came out, and then you knew that they were going to be super popular just off the response of them doing the Warped Tour.
Yeah.
And then Travis joined it, and then it was just like, it's done.
Yeah.
It's a brand now. It's like done. It's a wrap. But I met Travis when he played with the Aquabats. Yeah, and those are other good friends through the Warped Tour. So, just being part of that whole
counterculture, man.
It really helped. Like I was into it though, but it really helped me advance different ways. Because then when I started to do TV, I'd be like, oh, I know homie, we could interview him. Like really, like yeah. Or then when I got into the radio with them, I'd be like, yeah, like no, I know these dudes, and the Warped Tour's coming up, and all these bands are on the tour too. So I was able. But it was your
networking, man. It was the circle of people that you.
But I was all new though, like X Games, punk rock, and all these blah, blah,
But dude, that was the time, man. I remember that moment. I was young, dude. I was I was like 12, 13 years old. I just started getting into skateboarding, right? It was just like and biking. It was just like that moment, that I look back at my life, and you were a part of it.
Thanks,
you are
dude.
a part of it. And that's just so fucking cool, dude.
Awesome.
That is so cool.
Awesome.
I mean, being able to go on that, the Warped Tour experience all around the world. I mean, it's just so crazy when you look back at an individual's life. If you went back just 3 years before, right? 3 years, in 94, if you would have quit biking, imagine.
I know. Well, that was a big chance. Look, man, when I first moved from St. Louis to Huntington Beach, I was like, dude, I don't know if I want to go. I'm so heartbroken. Oh my God, I just got divorced. But we didn't get along. And it was a chance. I remember talking to my mom, like, oh, crying, like, oh no, Mom. Like, my mom's like, look, dude, if you want to come back, if you don't want to move to California, if you don't want to do this thing for TV, okay, fine. But you're gonna miss an opportunity. You might not get again. Yeah. And that's already over. And I was like, she's right. And I remember like being upset. I drove out. I had a little Honda Civic at the time. And I remember I drove out, and once I got past like the Missouri border, things started to get a little easier. But, you're going to Colorado. You're like, it's so bad. You know what I mean? And you're crossing over. Well, I don't know what route I took when I go like Nevada or something. I'm like, well, there's Vegas. Cool. I'm feeling kind of good. Once I rolled into Huntington, I was like, who?
Exactly. Right?
What?
Right? It just melts away, right?
Later.
It just melts away.
I mean, but, it wasn't meant to be. And we both knew that. And so that was the time that I remember. But, dude, a lot of injuries. I've had a lot of injuries that most people would not want to fucking, like, ever deal with. Or the level of money you're making, you would be like, dude, what are you doing with your life? When I lived, I've had my face peeled off, my teeth broken, my jaw broken, shoulders torn, knees torn, tore my urethra, lung full of blood. I can go on and on and on.
All from biking.
Yeah, dude, through the years. I remember one specifically that I hit the corner of a loading dock, like when I lived in St. Louis. That relationship was just, it was oil and water, man. And I was young, and I just kind of felt like I should be married because all of my other friends were married, and they'd been married since they were 18, 19, a lot of them. And here I am now, like, 25 or something and not married. And I just felt like, I'm getting old and I need to keep up with everybody. And I think I got married for the wrong reasons, okay? And I learned the hard way. But I went out riding, and I was in a fight with her, and my mind wasn't in it. And I picked this stupid gap to do, and I came up short. And I basically hit the corner of a loading dock with my face. And I hit right underneath my nose. And I stood up, my teeth pop out. So I popped my teeth out, and I was like, it's not my teeth. When I bit down, I felt my face caving in and shit. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And all this fluid was just coming. I was spitting out this fluid that was like salty and bitter. And I was like, what is this shit? Anyway, I went to the doctor. Turns out that like I broke my palate, and I kind of had double vision in my vision. So I broke my eye socket, and I had a hairline crack along my eye socket. It broke in the corner. And then what happens is when you break there, it comes and breaks your palate. And then typically it could break your jaw. So it'd be like a boom, boom, boom break from what I've been told. But it didn't break all three. It broke two. So I'm like, what does that mean? And they're like, well, go home for a few days and let the swelling go down, and we're going to have surgery. You might lose sense of taste and smell. Now I can't bite anything down because you could put your thumb in my mouth and move it up and down.
Wow.
I didn't even know what the fucking, like, what the fuck is it? I'm just like, just never thought I'd break that. And so I remember eating, and everything just turned to glue. But I couldn't eat, just trying to eat soup and shit. And I lost my sense of taste and smell. And I started crying, dude. I was bummed, bro.
How old were you?
That's when I lived in St. Louis, getting the $200 a month paycheck. Yeah. This would have been, check this story out. This would have been, is that what happened? No, that's how it happened. This happened after this was the year of 96.
Wow.
Check it out. I just did the math. I came home from Australia that January. Okay. Competed in the contest to get into the X Games, was qualified. X Games was in June, January, February. It must have been around March. Because in April, May, I healed. June, I went to the X Games, and my face was, I'll tell you that, my face is still swelled up. Exactly. That's just all in 96. Fuck, I'm glad we tapped into this because I never thought of this doing the timeline. Anyhow, so then this is what they did. They said, okay, we need to have surgery. My face was so swelled up. You couldn't even see my chin at that point. They cut my face and the inside and lifted my cheeks this way. And they applied screws and plates that I still have to align my palate so it would mend back together with plates. Then I had a hairline crack and a break. So they pulled my eye socket out and I have screws right here you can still see. Now, the gnarly part was to stop the leak from my brain. That's what was the fluid going down the back of my throat.
No way.
And I'd been doing that, but I lost the sense of taste and smell, and I kept spitting it out, and the fuck it was. I thought it was like mucus or something nasally, but no, it was
from your brain.
Yeah, dude. So what they did was they cut my head from ear to ear, and they pulled my skin down, and they took fat from my stomach to stop the leak. Yeah.
Who the fuck thinks of this?
Now check it out. Check it out. I'm so blessed because radiology and the advancement of like this type of stuff had only been around a little bit of time. If this would have happened 30 years ago, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
Because there wouldn't have been a way to fix you. So I've had like about 15 fucking lives at this point.
Dude.
So here's the deal. They're like, okay, so I woke up and I had one long stitch across my head, and then I had a tracheotomy and I had double vision. Because at that point, my and I had no sense of taste and smell, and my mouth was wired shut.
Wow.
And they said, okay, go home. It'll go down, blah, blah, blah. You'll heal. But you need to walk around the block and make sure you bring some scissors with you, because if you're walking and you throw up, you'll choke on your throat, or you'll choke on your throw up. So cut the rubber bands, because they were rubber bands. They're super tight. You couldn't open it. I'd had broken before, but those were wired shut, but this is like rubber bands, but you couldn't move it. And if you were going to throw up, cut that shit so you don't die. And so I'd walk around and like my head was so big and shit. You're going to crack up on this. So then about a month goes by. St. Louis catches wind that like X Games, and there's an X Games pro that competed the first X Games that lives in St. Louis. So the local magazine, I forgot the name of it. It's like LA Weekly, but whatever there. Forgot what it's called. They want to do a write-up. They want to do a story on me. So they came to my house and they had me doing a trick on the ground where you roll. It's called a hang five, and you roll on the front wheel on the peg. And I did it going down the hill, and I had on my Power Bar shirt. I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna get $75. Yo, still hustling. So then I was like, oh, I got that Power Bar shit. Like, what's up? Bam. And then I was like, then I went to the second X Games, and it was in, yeah, dude. And my head was swelled up still from the injury, and people were like, oh my God, you're going to go to the X Games. You just had your face peeled off. It was only a few months before. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm going. And I ended up placing 7th and, out of 10 and didn't get last and did good and pulled my shit. And then I was just like, and I got on TV, which was always a kick.
Yes.
It was early and that was a way to keep advancing and moving forward and not use it as like, oh, I used to be. I was like, fuck it, just brush it off. Walk it off. I always thought like, what would Clint Eastwood do?
Yeah.
He'd walk that shit off.
Exactly.
So you just walk it off, bro. And that was probably, that was a gnarly one. And it was weird. It was an odd injury because not many people, I've never met anyone who broke their palate or didn't know it. And I learned about my body by fucking, I guess you could say, tearing it up in a way. But like, I believe that God gave you your body to use and technology, blessed that we able to, the medicine to get healed and, might have been able to 100 years ago. So why not just take the chance and go for it? Yeah. But I didn't. But the thing is, even though I was hurt and stuff, it never crossed my mind that I would quit. Yeah. It never crossed my mind that like, is this enough? Or am I making enough money? Or what crossed my mind was like, okay, lay in bed, listen to music, and think about your run.
Yeah.
Visualize. Can't ride right now because we learned that. Like all along this way, we've always worked out and we didn't know it. We were doing plyometric training. We were doing sit-ups and push-ups, working out, but we didn't consider ourselves jocks. But me and Dennis would do that. But we didn't really know, and we learned that visualization is so powerful that if you could already see yourself do something, you could do it.
Yes.
So
yes.
what I would do
is
I would lay in bed and I would visualize like my run, being in the moment, smelling the ramp, the crowd, my music. And then when I got there, I was like, I was already there.
Dude, I love that. It's so fucking true. It's so true. Exactly what you said. It is so true.
Yeah.
You have to visualize it, man. You have to manifest it. I mean, if you really
I talk a lot, dude. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I love your stories, man. It's very intriguing. It's so cool to hear. Okay, so we're kind of like building up. We're at like 96, 97, broke the pallet, did the X Games. What came next? Is that
just
when
more stuff? I mean, we're still.
What year did you move to California?
I moved to California in 97.
Okay, so 97, you move into California.
Yeah, because then we broke up that year in 96.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, well, actually, we broke up in 97.
Okay.
Because Airwalk brought us back in 97. And that time it was me, Tony, Mike Frazier, and Dennis McCoy. So then they doubled up. So we got to do the tour again.
Yeah.
And then that's when there was a lot of complications. Like I said, with us, we just weren't made for each other, and it's all good, But that was the year where I was like, okay, MTV said, hey, we're into this X Games stuff. Like, we're looking for somebody to host this contest we want to do. And I was a candidate. And so I remember being on Warped Tour, and homie from Lagwagon, Chris, is that his name? Bass player. Pretty sure it's he's going to have to look this up.
Yeah, he'll look it up, yeah.
I asked him, hey, man, can I do like MTV wants to see me host, and I don't have anything. Can I
I can't do it.
Can I interview you?
Oh shit. Okay.
Like as a spoof, so I could send them this tape so they could see. And that was back, you send them like a high 8 tape, whatever. And I did like a spoof interview with him. So like say, hey, this is what, because I didn't really even know what I was doing. And I just winged it. And they said, okay, good, you got the gig. And I was
Shut
like,
up.
What? And so that was like, okay, so I'm in this relationship, we're getting divorced, went to Australia, did all this, and then like, okay, oh man, I got to, and that's a pivotal moment. Like, do I stay here and be heartbroken and not take this opportunity, or I just pack up and move? There's nothing keeping me here.
Yes.
Go for it. And so that's what happened for me. And then after that, ESPN saw me do the MTV event, and ESPN goes, look, we're doing this show, and we want you to do it. And that was in 98.
Damn.
So then I'm like, cool. And I remember the first Warped Tour we did, the first X Today we did in 98 was at the Warped Tour in Europe.
Holy shit.
Because I was on tour. Yeah, so then here we are, and then that went for 4 years. And then by that point, people know what you're doing, and then like I said, man, I've been really, really blessed, but I've also been, things have happened to me organically.
No, but you hustled, man. Come on. Like, imagine if you didn't do that mock interview with, can you look up, it was the drummer or
the bass player for Lagwagon.
The bass player for Lagwagon. If you wouldn't have done that.
He's going to, if he hears this, he's going to be like, you don't remember my name. Dick.
Whatever. We'll bleep it out.
Yeah.
No. But seriously, like,
yeah, do because I'm not.
All right, Joe.
No. It's not the bass player. Right there. Go to Chris. No, go down. Second Chris. There. It is Chris.
Okay.
Chris Flippin. That's
Chris Flippin. So imagine, man.
But wasn't his brother? Didn't they do Skate Lab?
Possibly. I don't remember.
Anyways, it was Chris Flippin, and make sure you put that in there to make me sound like an idiot, because we toured a lot and we were homies, and I asked him if I could interview him. And it was just random because we were friends. And I was just like, hey, I got this opportunity. Do you mind if I could interview you? I wish I had that tape. I don't. I mean, someone at MTV probably has it.
That would have been fucking dope.
Yeah.
That would have been dope. Yeah, we could probably find out who the owners of Skate Lab were. But that being said.
No, Steve. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve. Okay. Yeah. Imagine you had the insight to say, hey, wait a minute. I have this opportunity. Let me go think outside of the box and do a mock interview, and it got you the job.
It did. And it was like, and then I went on to do that job, and guess who I was hosting with?
Who?
Ice motherfucking T, bitch.
Shut the fuck up.
So here I go, like, oh, okay, like, now I started to meet these people. And the thing about when I started doing TV is I started to interview a lot of people. And then I did a show for Fox as well, and I interviewed a lot of people and musicians that I looked up to, and then I started to realize that, like, man, if they could do it, I could do it. And Ice-T was one of those people, not in a bad way, not in a competitive way, not in a comparing way, but I always put Ice-T on his big, I still do. Like, I admire him.
Dude,
I love everything he does.
Very
I love
talented.
Ice-T. I love Body Count. I love all of his stuff he does, all his acting, everything. And so when I met him and worked with him, I realized that, like, he inspired me to go, shit, man, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to have a house in the hills. I want to be on MTV Cribs. And I set that goal for 7 years, and that eventually happened. Believe it or not. And I remember going, damn, it took me 7 years to get on Cribs.
Dude.
Because I saw Ice-T on Cribs, and I love the guy. He's such a rad person. And And then we did the Warped Tour because they did Warped Tour Europe, Body Count, Ice-T did. So here I'm on tour with them. And so like, oh, remember we did that thing the year before? Yeah, no way, now we're here. You know, you become friends. And then when you become friends, it was, you know, like I said, I was a kid from Missouri. No one in my family was in radio, film, TV, sports, nothing, none of the above. So, you know, you get kind of like, you're stoked. You're like, wow, I'm actually doing this with, and then you start to go, well, I could do it too.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I am doing it. Wait a second. Is this happening? Oh, it's kind of that feeling. And that's how I've always been with shit.
Yes.
Even to this day. Even when you ask me to do your podcast, I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, I never think that I'm better than to do something.
No, and it's,
you know
it's so crazy. No, I totally do. Like, and I really appreciate it, right? I appreciate you coming on, right? I appreciate, you know, all the people that have come on.
Yeah, I got a good vibe, dude. It's good.
It's thank you. Thank you. But that being said, it's like you set these goals, you manifest these things, and they fucking happen, man. They happen.
Trip. Well, listen, man, I started to study some shit. Like, I get deep with you. I went through a third divorce. But this time I had 2 kids. And this time I was like, okay, we need to stop the shit, Rick.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody. You need to figure out yourself. You need to figure out why you keep in the same situation. Yeah, you got the writing, you got these opportunities, people, you know, you got all this stuff. But intimately and relationship-wise, got some problems here because you keep making the same choices. What's your deal? And so I faced myself. And I found out about myself that I had a big problem with abandonment, people pleasing, and guilt. So when I said, okay, how am I going to get rid of these things? How am I going to get rid of, like, imagine that combination: self-guilt, people pleaser, afraid to be alone. That means you're going to do a bunch of shit for somebody, and then you're going to people please them, and then they're not going to respect you because all you do is people please them, and then they're going to leave you. And that was the pattern. So I said, okay, let's start. What do we do? What I did is I started to study the brain. I found this guy named Napoleon Hill. He started PMA. All punk rockers say PMA. That's Napoleon Hill. He wrote Think and Grow Rich. Yeah. Then I found 10 hours of his lectures for $2.95 on iTunes. It's actually him talking about the subconscious mind, how it doesn't go to sleep, how it stays awake, how it believes everything you say and tell it, takes it 100% true. You could say, I'm tired. It goes, cool, I'll find you more tired.
Yep.
I'm broke. I'll find you more broke. That's how it works. So I go, wait a second. If it never goes to sleep, that's why they said never sleep with your TV.
Yeah.
Because you're listening to all that shit.
Yeah.
So I started to listen to audiobooks while I slept.
Yeah.
To reprogram.
Yep.
I'm on a mission. This is my new reinvention. And what I learned through all this is law of attraction. Yeah. Esther Hicks. She has a book called Law of Attraction, The Pursuit of Health, Wealth, and Happiness. She channels a spirit called Abram Hicks. Okay. And she talks about, like, the law of attraction. And then I said, wait a second. The law of attraction goes with the subconscious mind. I've been telling this old story. That's why I keep seeing these old results. That's why it's not changing. Start telling the story you want, not the story you don't want.
Yeah.
And then I started to realize, wow, that's what's been keeping me confined here. And it took me a long time. But you tapped into something when you said manifesting the attraction. Is the law of attraction is so true.
It is so true.
And it's all in your thoughts and speech.
Yeah.
That's where it all starts.
It's exactly where it starts. And I love what you said about, especially about when you start talking about sleeping, right? Because for such a long time, myself, I would sleep with the TV on, right? I just always, right? Fucking anything from Friends to whatever bullshit, right? But the change when I started listening to one, sleep frequency like music, right? And then like sleep meditation, right? The type of sleep, the way that you feel when you wake up, it is so fucking different than anything I ever experienced before, as far as when it came to sleep, you know? And, you know, I don't know, I've always just been a big believer in energy, like the things that you put out there. And so you're talking about, like, the law of attraction. It's like, it's so fucking true.
And it sounds so simple to be like, dude, it can't be that simple. No, it is. It really is. It's how you word things.
Yeah.
You know, I learned to say, like, I don't like to say, or that sounds really hypocritical what I'm getting ready to say. I'd rather not say, I don't like that, or I don't want to do this. I word it like, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Or like, Dad, can I buy this? I'm broke. can't buy that. I'm broke. Then your subconscious mind doesn't know that you're really not broke and says you're broke and sounds more broke. So I say, nah, I'd rather spend my money on something else.
Yes.
You start to reword things.
Yes.
And it becomes a practice.
Yes.
Because the old practice was keeping me in these, can you look up 432 hertz? Just go 432 HZ. Do you know about this?
Yeah, of course.
You said frequency.
Yep.
And that's one of the frequencies I sleep to.
Dude, anyone
listening,
not
432 hertz.
That's the exact frequency I sleep to every single night.
They got some really good 8-hour YouTube.
Dude, yes.
I think it's Power Thoughts is the one that I listen to.
It might be the same fucking. I listen to New Thoughts or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Same stuff. I could have 5 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep. And if I was listening to Friends while I'm sleeping, I'm going to wake up feeling like shit.
Yeah.
If I have 5 or 4 hours of sleep, right, which I don't like doing, right, but if I did and I listen to 4:30, sometimes you have to. I wake up fucking like I'm a goddamn beast.
Yeah.
Like it's just insane what happens. And so your brain, your subconscious mind does not stop. It does not fucking stop.
No, it's like you could say I think I'm going to be sick. And then a couple of days later, you're sick. And see, I told you. It's like, no, you told yourself.
Yeah.
Don't tell me.
How do you go from have you ever felt like shit, right? You ever felt like shit and then all of a sudden something happens, right? Something good happens. And all of a sudden you're feeling better. Like you could literally be feeling like death, but then good news comes through or fucking whatever. And I know what this is like, especially with my fibro, is like I have times where I have flare-ups, right?
Right.
But I have this ability where I can reprogram my brain and reprogram my mind to where I could be feeling like shit, but if I just start thinking like this or looking at things like this or just going this way instead of letting my mind go this way, I'm going to feel 10 times better.
You are. It's really all about what you tell yourself.
Yeah.
And if you've been told your life that you're one thing, you could start to believe it. And then you think, and it's effect, if you've told yourself you could do anything, then you're like, oh, okay. I think it's just it really is really simple, but I think humans, even me at times in my life, have it's been difficult. You make it a difficult life.
Of course.
One thing that I could say that helped me sleeping in front of the TV, I used to watch USA Network when I lived with my mom's. When I was a kid, I was like 12 maybe when this happened. And USA used to have Up All Night. And it was like, I'm old enough before we had cable. So when cable came out, it was like TV all fucking 24 hours. What the fuck? They used to turn it off at midnight. It'd be like just a, bye, we'll see you tomorrow. And, we didn't have VCRs. We had no access to TV. We just had to fucking hang out and just go to bed, I guess. Anyways, I remember sleeping on the couch at my mom's, and I woke up to use the restroom, and there was this documentary on, a punk rock documentary that little did I know would change my life, and it was called Another State of Mind. Another State of Mind is a documentary that has Social Distortion, Youth Brigade, and they go on tour in a school bus. And it's young Mike Ness. He wrote Another State of Mind on that tour. Well, you should check it out. Anyone listening, it's called Another State of Mind.
Yeah, we pull that up.
Yeah,
thank you.
Pull it up. Pull up Mike Ness, Another State of Mind. Well, they'll probably show or Social Distortion. They'll probably show the song, but just say Another State of Mind documentary. Anyhow, I knew about punk rock, and I had a cassette tape of Sex Pistols on one side and Run DMC on the other, but I wasn't really a punker yet, Yeah. And I actually have that VHS right there.
Okay.
I actually have the VHS that Mike Ness signed and Dennis from the band.
Holy shit.
That passed away.
You continue, then I'll read
it. Because we did Warped Tour and I brought it with me and I asked him to sign it. I eventually interviewed Mike Ness for Fox, believe it or not.
Seriously?
Yeah. When he played the Roxy.
I believe it, actually.
No, it was dope. It's like I said, when you're on tour, people, you just become friends, And so that was a big deal for me because that documentary changed my life and told me oh shit, I want to be because Sid and Nancy, that movie came out a little bit after. Yeah. And I remember dude, I'm going to be a punk rocker. After I woke up and then I didn't go back to bed. I just was absorbed with this documentary of these dudes in this tour bus and shit. And I went and saw Youth Brigade play last year and they with TSOL and I was talking to Youth Brigade and I told them about the documentary. I'm like, you guys don't realize. They're like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, no, you really don't realize this.
The change in my life
made me who I am today.
Isn't that crazy? That's that, dude. You've had these pivotal moments. It's like waking up, right, and then watching this documentary, right, and then the Australia trip, right, and then going through your divorce and coming out here and getting that job with Ice-T. It's like you have these moments through your life, and it's like after doing so many of these, these podcasts. Some of these people that I really gravitate towards have a very similar story. It's like these fucking stepping stones, man. It's so cool.
You want to attract. I didn't know about the law of attraction, but I studied it, and then I realized that, like, and then to back up about like changing, reprogramming your brain and how you feel about things. You over the period of quite a while of listening to audiobooks and actually applying stuff. Yeah. You would go into a situation and you would see a red flag that you would never see before. You'd be like, oh,
yes.
Oh, I see now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I always fall for that one.
Yeah.
Not this time around.
No, and it's just
not in a mean way, but just in a like, okay, I'm being tested right now.
Yeah.
Got it.
Slight little fucking change can change everything for you. And so hold on, I just like so people can fucking understand what this real quick. The plot. Let me just scroll up. Can you scroll up to the top? I want to read this because this is a pivotal thing for you. Another State of Mind film. Another State of Mind is a documentary film made in the summer of '82, chronicling the adventure of two punk bands, Social Distortion and Youth Brigade, as they embark on their first international tour. Along the way, meet up with another progressive punk band, Minor Threat.
Yep.
Fuck yes. Yep. Whom they hang out with at the Discord house for about a week and end their ill-fated tour.
And what's really cool about it is like, I'm a huge Ian MacKaye. Like, Ian MacKaye was my dude because I was straight edge. So I was straight edge. I used to put X's on my hands and stuff, but I wasn't like, you're straight edge and like, I'm better than you. I was just like, that was the positivity I needed. So Ian MacKaye is like he's my favorite.
I love that, man.
Yeah, he's my favorite. Have you ever heard the band Embrace?
I have not.
Okay. After Minor Threat broke up, he did like a little EP. He did Skewbald, and then he did a little EP and Egg Hunt. That's 2-song EPs. But the actual full album is called Embrace.
Shit.
And, they say emo rock, and sometimes Ian's like, emo rock, what's that? You should see interviews with him. And it's very emotional punk rock before, like, but that's their style. And this is before Fugazi.
Shit.
So anyone listening, and you and everybody, Embrace is like probably my favorite punk band of all time. Like, just Ian MacKaye, like, he's really ahead of his time. He's a really smart dude, and he's really, a crazy story on the back of the Discord records. It's like Beecher Street, the classic Salad Days.
Yeah.
Anyone listening, they did Salad Days EP, and it's classic, them sitting on this porch. And I was in DC doing shows. I was like, I'm gonna go to this address. I'm gonna go find this Discord house. Turns out where we went was not that house. It was actually his parents' house.
No way,
dude. And here's the deal. The mom's like, oh, and it was nothing like that Discord house. Okay. It was it was a nice neighborhood. And I was like, wait, are we at the right address? And we knock on the door, and his mom's like, oh, Ian wanted me to give these to people that come by. And he had put his like address on the, you know what I mean? And I was like, I guess you could say,
what?
I guess you could say I was like a little stalker kid, but I wasn't stalking. I was just loved Minor Threat. And I'm
yes,
like, yeah, I'm gonna go see that Discord house. I wasn't planning on like,
so wait, his mom gave out little
stack of like Xerox things Ian made of like, hey, this is like the address that my parents. This isn't the house of the, because he knew people had been doing that.
Holy
yeah,
shit.
Dude. And so I was with my one buddy, and I felt stupid afterwards, but I thought, so I was like, that was awesome. I met Ian's mom, dude.
No, that's so fucking cool, dude. That's so cool. I love that. I wish you still had that little piece of paper. That
yeah,
got, right?
Me too, bro.
Right? It'd be so fucking cool to see. Okay, let's bring it back to your story, right? So you move out to California. When you started doing that show, what was the show called with Ice-T?
MTV Action Sports and Music Awards. No, MTV Sports and Music Festival.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
And so you did that for 4 years?
No. That was a one-off event.
Okay.
The show I did for ESPN for 4 years.
Okay.
Sorry, it was called XX Today.
Okay.
It was an hour-long show.
And that was with
That was what I was the main host.
You were the main host back then, right?
And then we would go to locations, and then preferably at events, and then throw to like other events. So like I could be at like Vance Triple Crown of Skate and be like, yo, I'm here with like Bucky Lassick, what up, blah, 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 talk about his run, blah, blah, blah. And then go, right now, we're going to go to Colorado and we're going to check out snowboard action, because it was all new.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first started doing ESPN, they're like, yo, we want you to wear inline skates, put on a ESPN blue denim button-up shirt, and hold a microphone. And I was like, okay, check it out. I'm the biker in black. I'm going to be on my bike. I wear all black. And can you give me a lavalier? Meaning,
yes.
lava.
Yeah.
And so they're, or lav. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. And so I kind of had to take some direction and like to protect. See, I always try to protect as much as I could, like who I was, because I felt like I was putting like our shit out there to the masses, and I didn't want to do it like lame, I want to do it with some integrity and dignity, and who I was as a person, and not just like, I'm the crazy host, watch me juggle some eggs in a bowling pin. Like I wasn't trying to be that dude.
Yeah.
I was trying to be like, this is their shit, and I'm real, and this is this is the real deal. Not like, so at times I would butt heads because I didn't want them to, this is early on, so I don't blame them because they didn't know.
No.
But I'm glad I was there to help steer them in a way to be like, look, a lot of personality goes far in this world,
Yeah.
and that's where I kind of developed my host style.
That's so fucking cool though. Like who would have thought, right? Like who would have thought? What year was this when you first did it?
That we did the first show in 98.
98.
And so we did like 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. So it was like, that was at the end of 98. So 98 really doesn't count as like a year that I did it, but it started in 98.
Look at that, man. Within, like I said earlier, remember I said if you would have quit 3 years, right? Imagine if you would have stopped biking fucking 4 years, 5 years. Like, what the fuck?
Bro, I went from making nothing to like,
being on fucking Cribs, dog.
Well, Cribs doesn't pay you anything.
No, I know, but what I'm saying,
it helps though. It's the publicity.
You don't get to go on Cribs if you don't have nice things.
Right. What was weird about my Cribs is that I didn't make it about possessions only.
I love that.
Like I made a skit out of it, which I eventually pitched as a TV show to them. And it was not the right time. It might be right now if you're listening. Let's do this shit. Because Travis Barker just had his show with Shayna, and then Robin Big was coming out.
Yeah.
And it just didn't fall in a line at the time. But I was really good friends over there. But what had happened was, what did I tell? Oh, MTV Cribs. So I put a ramp on my roof, a mini ramp. It wasn't there all the time, but I put it there for the show because I knew, like, I'm going to do something cool for this. I got tattooed for the show. I got my middle finger tattooed, which is a skull.
Okay.
So I could flip off the world.
Yeah, I love it.
My mom was cracking up. I'm like, yo, I got my new tattoo. And I had Kristen Soy was there, and Heath Penner, bike rider, Mike Ardeline. So I do sessioning on the ramp.
Yes.
I got tattooed by Big Island Mike, my homie. DJ Arrow was DJing.
Damn, dude, you made this like a fucking thing.
And then I had Travis Barker there with the homies hanging by the jacuzzi.
Yeah.
And I just got on Famous Stars and Straps. So I looked at that as an opportunity to promote his brand. What's better with him being there?
Yeah, of course.
And he's all, MTV loves him. So I looked at it more of like a skit than like, this is my room. It's just to look at my new couch. I just felt like my life was more about possessions, and I took it like an entertainer's perspective.
Yeah.
And I remember I took everything out of my fridge and just put Monster.
I love that.
And that's before they had like Monster fridges.
Yes.
So then what happened is my cribs made it into the top 10 best cribs of all time. So now they're showing it all the time.
Dude.
So now my thing was, I'm always out there. I'm relative. I'm doing things and people. And that was what my goal was with that. It wasn't so much like, hey, I don't have the house anymore, but like, it just felt weird bragging about.
No, I get that.
You bought, like, it doesn't make you who you are.
No, not
it's
at all.
cool to have, but I was more about like, this is what my life's really about.
No, I love that though. I absolutely love that. And it all stems from that one class. Remember the class
Mass
that you
media,
took, right?
dude. Mass
right?
media.
It's like,
Telling you.
It's so fucking funny. I don't know. I've just recently been looking at like individuals that I meet and how in short periods of time, their life changes, right? Their life was like this, and then how the fuck did they get to here, right? And it's just because they continued to push, right? They just fucking did it, right?
Well, what people do is, you're right, you're absolutely right, bro. And what people do is when a new band comes out, people are like, who are these guys? Why are they getting all this? Yeah, they were about 9 years deep with nothing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just not like they just didn't, I mean, I'm sure there's some bands that are put together, obviously, and pop and stuff, and but that person would probably been doing music for a while.
A long time.
And then it's like it hit, and so it's kind of like it, that's what I said earlier, man. You're going and nothing's hitting, and you want to give up. Those are the times you go harder, because then something's going to happen for you. And then you just, if you get a little taste of something, if you slightest bit grateful at all, you're like, damn, this is cool. Like, I can get a box of power bars for free. You know what I'm saying? And like, what, dude, this is sick, Tony. Oh, let's get this shit. And then you're like, what? And you're stoked, because then you're like, oh, I'm getting $15 a day food money, but if I eat power bars half the day, I could maybe save some of that $15 a day. You know what I'm saying?
It's so true, though. It's so true. Okay, so all right, we're gonna bring it back, right? So,
I drove my last wife crazy. I'd be like, wait a second, you bought this food, this can of like artichoke hearts, and you don't want them? Take them back. She's like, what? I go, it was like $2.50 a can, but you saw $5 on the ground. You're gonna make me take these back. If you're not gonna eat them, take them back.
And she didn't like that.
No.
But that's crazy, right? Because you can return food, right? Like, if you don't like it, you can return it.
I'm just wondering why she bought it in the first place.
I don't even want to go there.
That's a whole nother conversation. Okay, so
but me and her are cool. Me and my ex with the kids we're way cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, man, you got to be.
Well, especially when you have kids, man. That changes everything, right?
We're super cool, actually.
How old were you when you had your first kid?
I was 36.
So you're 36 years old,
and then 38. In my story, man, look, like everything I stem from I'm reminding myself about stories and about like the past. And so this is a story of a past. And like, you work yourself up, you go through the criticism of the sport, sport starts to take jabs at you because a lot of dudes are jealous because they don't realize that it's more than just what bike trick you're doing. It's like, dude, you have no idea. I just did XXX. I was in XXX. I was in a video game. I had an action figure. I've saved all my money. I didn't party it away. I bought a house. I invested it. These are the things that I was doing. And so naturally people start to get envious because you have possessions.
Of course.
And you have a personality like mine at the time, super loud, super like, and created a lot of envy. Okay. Well, what had happened was sports, the economy kind of took a hit in 2007, 2008. Yeah. Right. And a lot of my industry came at me hard. And so once one person starts talking shit, next person talks shit, blah, 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 blah. I ended up like losing a lot of sponsors. And granted, not just because of that, because of the economy. And then I got myself in over my head with bills. So I have my house in Beverly Hills I had for 12 years. I can't afford to keep it. Wife wants to leave. I got 2 kids. My industry's trying to give me some shit. I got really, really like, because this is back to your story. So let's get to the story. I got really like fearful.
Yeah.
This is before digging into my audiobooks and finding all that. Okay. This is what helped me change. And so I had to let go of the house, and they got divorced, and whatever couldn't fit in my apartment, 900 square foot apartment in Sherman Oaks, I had to get rid of. And I had my kids pretty much full time. I couldn't tour anymore. Wow. I had to raise my kids. I have no family out here. My ex helped, but at the time I had him more. And even to this day, my kids are with me more. And that's fine. It's all good. But I needed to change. And so to go back what I was talking to earlier about everything, about why I haven't, been involved in partying like that and stuff, is that was a part in my life where I could have like really lost it. Yeah. Because I was so let down by the industry. I was so like, what do I do with my kids? And I was so heartbroken. 3rd marriage now. Fucking, I got kids. And look, man, if I could do it, and anybody listening, we're gonna bring it up, you could do it.
Yeah.
The thing is, don't get hooked on any of those pills. Don't think partying. Don't run off and meet somebody else. Focus on yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So important, man.
And you realize that it's just a house, you get another one.
Exactly.
And that goes back to my speech. I don't say I lost my house. I say I lost a house.
Of course.
Meaning that there'll be another.
Yeah.
But at the time, man, that was another pivotal point in my life. Besides all this other shit happening, to get to know me.
Yeah.
Because I always felt like I was running. I was always behind my helmet.
Yeah.
I was always
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then here I am now. Boom. Face yourself. And it took work, but it's worth it. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Going through that experience at that moment, man, it's got to be so dark.
Yeah, because you're cracking, and then you're like, not. And then you're trying to lean on your industry, and they're like, not having you. And you're like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
I'm the same dude.
Nothing changed.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I've changed a lot, but as far as like
at that moment, nothing was different. 2006, everything was fine. 2007, 2008, things are different.
And I tried to hang on to that house and went through all my savings, went through all of it, and then put it up for short sale. Eventually, short sold it, and I basically ripped through everything. Then I had to try to keep it. Which, looking back, I probably would have handled it differently, but I learned, and so. You can only keep moving forward. And my point is that like, if you keep the clear mind, you're able to accomplish anything, man.
Absolutely.
What
did you do? Like you're going through this super dark period. How did you get out of it? Like what
I just felt alone. Well, I thought back to like what I felt like with when my dad left, and I'm like, okay, no one gets left behind.
Yeah.
So it was 2 dogs, a cat, and 2 kids in a 900 square foot apartment. And it was not easy, but they were little, so it was
they didn't know different.
Everything was fun. The way that I got out of it was I needed to make a change and not keep. I don't know. Something just led me to like the positive. I've been tattooing positive quotes all over my body as reminders, and so I started to look at my body and said, "You need to fucking start living this." Especially I got this like never give up, never give in on my hands. So when I ride,
I love that.
And I was just like, how many tattoos you got to get before you wake up?
Yeah.
It's not in the tattoo. It's in your heart. It's in your brain. It's in you. And so I just made a decision for my kids because I wanted them to I had to rebuild, and it was a point in time where like I could share this because it is what it is. And it is an old story, but I remember it was a point in time where I'm like, hey, I got the kids again this weekend. They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Like I had them a lot, sometimes full time.
Yeah.
And I look at my bank account, and I tell this story out of motivation, not out of like anything happening today, but what it was. I still had sponsors. Monster was still sponsoring me, but other sponsors fell off. So it was a struggle to be able to raise 2 kids off my, single that income. I had to still go find other things, And I remember one time I'm like, damn, I got the kids again this weekend, man. That's great. Too bad I only have 70 cents in my account.
Jeez.
I'm not kidding you. Luckily, they were young. And I was like, we'll do something here. We'll go for a bike ride. We got bikes, right? We don't need to eat out. I'll make some food. It's okay. We'll make fun. We'll have fun. We'll watch some TV. We'll be with each other. And I was able to pull it off. Yeah. And that went on for a couple of years in the rebuilding because I was still real angry. I was still real heartbroken. I was still like devastated that like I worked for this life in this industry and like this house, and I thought I was doing things right, and I didn't party, and I already gave so much to my family, and I wanted to build this. And then I was all, not the family, but the possessions and the relationship and stuff. And so it took me a couple years. And then once I started to learn about the attraction, that's when and I'm reminding myself, this is an old story. I started to learn to tell myself the new story.
Yeah.
And that's just an old story to motivate not only anybody listening, but myself. I mean, I remember a point where I was like, okay, how much lettuce do I have? I got to get through this week.
Wow.
And but then you go on the street and people are like, dude, you're sick. Yo, what's up? And I was like, crazy? Dude, I'm like barely getting by right now. I'm trying to survive, but I wouldn't say it.
No, you wouldn't.
No, but you want to be like, dude, like help.
Yes. Yeah. You didn't let your.
But I've never really been good to ask for things. I've always felt like if you're good, it'll come to you. I've always had that kind of attitude.
Do you think that's held you back at all?
Yeah, I kind of ask more now.
It's good. You should.
Yeah, I do. I do ask more when it comes to stuff. But I bring something to the table.
Yes.
I bring an idea. I bring something that's cool. Like right now, I have a signature sock with merge.
Yeah.
I got a signature hot sauce. We're working on a signature e-bike. You know what I'm saying? Like cool shit's going on.
Dude, the pictures, remember we were talking earlier. That's not
signature print with Tony. And so this has been like, you know, I kind of honestly, I think this is what happened. I moved back in this apartment and I had all these VHS tapes and I didn't dub all of them. And I still wish I had the ones I threw away, but I dubbed them on disc. So I have it on disc. So I was like, I don't have room to keep this in my house. So some stuff I got rid of, but I have it on disc. So I'm like, okay. And I started looking at these tapes of shit I accomplished, and I forgot.
Wow.
I forgot, dude. I forgot. Like, I did that? Oh, I could do that trick? No fucking way. Really? Like, I seriously, if you're like me, you just kind of like do something and you keep moving.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I don't have anything on my walls of the past because I used to do that, but now I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to move forward, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, it's just me. And so like, yeah, I started looking at these tapes and shit, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, no way. And then I started to rebuild my confidence because I lost it all because I was so devastated. I was so heartbroken. I was so afraid, you know, of like, you know, your daughter crying, going, not two houses, one. Not two houses, one. And like, you say, it's not your fault. And they're little. Yeah. She was like 5 or 6. No, she was 7. He was 5. And they were confused. And I remember feeling that way. And no one ever told me that it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, no.
Man. And so I thought like for a long time that it might be. Yeah. I don't know if it is or not, but maybe. And so I wanted to tell them that. And so I just was still carrying that, like, still trying to figure out and during it was tough years.
Dude, it was fucking hard.
It was tough.
I
didn't go to a relationship. I've still been single all these years.
Yeah.
I wanted to devote everything to my kids, to raise them, because I didn't have a dad like that. And that's how I did it.
See, I love that, man. I don't love that, you know, obviously it sucks, those hard times, right? But what you just said, right, is like, you know, a lot of times, or, you know, people with their family, you're a direct reflection of your mom and dad. And it's a time and time again story. Every single person, right? And you have a parent, a mom, a dad, whatever, and you're brought up these certain ways.
Yep.
And a lot of people just follow that path, right? Some good, some bad, but especially when it's bad, it's very hard to break away from that, right?
Yeah.
But for you, right, you looked at that moment like, I'm not going to be that fucking dad. I'm not going to be that dad.
No, not at all. And I never have been.
Right? And so it's like, it didn't matter if you had 77 cents in your fucking, you know, bank, or you had $77,000 in your bank account. It doesn't matter. Exactly. You're still going to be fucking awesome dad.
Yeah, dude, you know what we did that day? We played with a balloon. Those were the ages where you could see, like, it's it, and then make sure
it exactly, right?
And I was like, but if you know, rather not that ever happen again. If they would have been like these ages now, it would have been.
It's hard.
Yeah, when they were little, I'm thankful it happened when they were little. That's all I could say, because they were easily entertained. None of my kids aren't high maintenance or anything like that, but they just change.
Dude,
you know?
I was a kid, man, and you know, I remember being 14 years old, and you know, all the way up until that, we lived in big fucking houses and had awesome things, and you know, all this just amazing shit, right? And then all of a sudden, times got very tough for my parents, right? Mm-hmm. And we had to move into a house, and then a smaller house, and then moved into a small ass condo, right, or apartment. And so I went from having these like big ass rooms, pools, fucking just monster homes, into fucking,
it's hard, bro.
And I was 14, 15 years old, and it just didn't, like, it didn't make sense, but you know, it is what it is, right? It is what it is.
Well, we drive past, absolutely, dude. I know where you're coming from. We drive past the apartment. We do memory lane sometimes to the valley and shit.
I love that.
And we have good memories there.
Exactly.
Anywhere we ever lived has always been good memories.
That was my point. I was going to get that.
Yeah, there's not like, oh, that, teenage years are a little harder.
It is.
I'm being real with you.
But I look back at that
girls,
moment.
Like, what? It's definitely.
But when they're 30 years old, they're not going to remember that little shit. Like, they're not going to, like, you remember the good times.
Here's what I did, though, with my kids. I never
bury the bad.
You do. You definitely bury the bad. And with my kids, I never told them my financial situation.
Yeah.
I never.
That's
I think I said this to my daughter last year, the 70-cent story, and she's like, "What?" I was like, "Oh, you know, we got through it. Did you have fun?" Yeah, all right. But I don't talk about it much. I never even really told my kids what I did.
Yeah.
Nah, I felt weird, like bragging and shit. Like I was in a video game, and I let them figure it out themselves.
Yeah, but it's fucking cool, man.
It is cool.
Come on, man. It's cool, but it's not bragging.
Cool.
I mean, you can brag or you can share stories, right?
Yeah, well,
right?
They know now, but you know, yeah, when they were younger, I didn't really.
Dude, they should be fucking stoked for their dad. Like they should be like,
yeah,
my dad
good.
fucking did this. My dad did this. Like, come on, man.
No,
like,
they're rad.
You know,
but it's also like too, like if you're like the kid of Slayer, you're like, my dad's fucking whatever.
I know, right?
You know what I mean?
It's like if your dad's Michael Jordan or whatever.
That's what kids are. Like they're just kids.
It doesn't matter. Not until you get older, right?
Yeah.
It's like then you really realize and appreciate things different. It's so crazy talking to you because you know we started. You said you're 51 years old, right?
I am.
You know, my dad passed away when he was 51. And when
wow.
I looked at him, right, I thought he was old, right? And I look at some 51-year-olds and I'm like, damn, they're fucking old, right? And I'm 34, right? So it's not that far away. You're 51 and it's like you're going on 35, dude. Like I'm not even joking. Like the way you hold yourself and like, dude, it's just important.
Thanks, man.
I love it.
I think it's, but that goes back to what I was saying, like power of thinking and you know, when I was going through stuff and you know, your brain could weigh you down, make you look older and stuff. Just take care of myself though. You know, I eat good and exercise and sit in a sauna, sit in a jacuzzi. I have that stuff at home and like, you know, really just a lot of it's the power of thinking.
It is.
The mind's more, the body's tough. Like your body can take a lot.
Yeah.
It really can.
I know.
It's your mind. And the second that anything gets in your mind that's going to weigh it down or pollute it or make you think a negative way, it'll eat you alive. Mm-hmm. And that goes back to the power of thinking. Look, whatever you think of most is what you get.
Yeah.
Meaning like good or bad. If you think about something bad all the time, well, see, I tested that law of attraction because at the time I wanted to buy a Jeep.
Okay.
My kids wanted a Jeep. I'm like, all right, let's get a Jeep. I want to buy a Jeep. Older Jeep. Let's, you know, the old style Jeeps. Let's get a Jeep. And so all of a sudden I'm driving and then everything I saw was a Jeep. I'm sure anyone listening's ever done that. Like, dude, you notice I just keep seeing freaking Ferraris everywhere because you're thinking about it. And it made me go, oh shit, this works. This works. The subconscious mind works. All I've been talking about, all I've been thinking about is a Jeep. I tested it, and the only thing I'm seeing on the road are Jeeps.
Isn't that crazy?
People are like, yo, whatever, dude. I'm
no.
Like, try it.
Try it.
Try it.
Try it.
My one buddy be like, see, I told you that was going to happen because you're looking at the negative of things.
Of course. Of course. Right? That's it. That's it. Dude, that is fucking it, right?
Because you already knew something negative was going to come out of it because you have a negative disposition.
It's so
true. So you're looking at the negative. You missed all the... It's like Bruce Lee, pointing at the moon.
Yes.
Don't look at the finger. Look at the moon. You'll miss all the heavenly glow.
I love that.
Something like that.
Yes,
word for word.
Good. Good imitation.
So that's what I'm saying. Like you if you see the negative, you wake up and you see the negative in things. Well, what do you think you're gonna?
That's all you're gonna get.
Oh gosh,
it's what you put out there is what you're gonna get, and it's like I talk about this all the time. It's so fucking true. I mean, I just look at this podcast and like what has happened in what just a year's time, right? You know, it's like anything that you truly want, if you're willing to fucking put the work out there and fucking truly just believe in it, man. Like literally believe in it from your fucking head to your fucking toes. It has to be backed up by hard work. Like
of course,
matter. You know, it's like the book, The Secret. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Traction.
That's a good one. Yep.
Great, right? But it's like people are like, oh, if I just think it, is it going to happen? No, it's way more than that.
We got to apply it.
You have to apply it, right? But if you truly think and believe in it, the actions are going to follow. It's just going to,
it'll take you there.
It's going to take you there, right? And it does come down to execution, right? But the more you put things out there, like the Jeep, right? The more you put out there, the more it's going to come back in return.
Well, and people like confidence.
Yeah.
You know, in our profession, in your profession, you know, you in mine, like people like confident people.
They do.
They like people that come, that are solid, that come with like results, that like are like, well, maybe we could try to do this, and maybe no, it's like, no, this is going to happen. I could do this for you, and you learn to be more. The confidence really plays a big part, because if you're not confident, you could think about things, but you know, it's trial and error too.
Of course.
You know, and lately I've been seeing a lot of things that people have been saying on like posts or different people, like, don't be afraid of failing. You know, failing means that you're going to succeed, like these motivational speakers. I've seen a few people say that. And it's true. Like, you know, like not everything is going to go as planned.
No.
But that doesn't mean you got to fall off track.
No. Like,
you know what I mean?
For me, like some of the biggest things I've learned is from things that I failed from. But I take from that and I don't fall off track. I continue to push forward, right? This is what I fucked up on. This is what I did wrong. And this is what I'm going to do different, right?
Yeah.
Just like relationships for you. Like we were talking about that earlier, right?
Yeah.
You have to be self-aware. You have to be able to look within. You have to be able to deflate the ego and look within. And it's like, it's so imperative when it comes to relationships or business, right?
Well, relationships too, like it's easy to be with your friends and be like, she sucks and this and that, and she did this to me, and she can be like, he did this, he did this.
Yeah.
But there's like a reason why you're with that person. It's the vibration you sent out.
Yeah.
They have something you think you needed, and you realize, like with me at least, like I don't need to be taking care of somebody 100%.
No.
I like myself now. I like being alone. I like my alone time. I dig it. You know, I don't feel guilty for a damn thing. Dude, I had a about 6,000 square foot house in Orange County. It was bomb, dude. Overlooked in the hills. It's so sick. But I couldn't enjoy it by myself.
Yeah.
And so I needed to take care of somebody. And then, no, I don't feel bad for anything anymore.
No.
Like I don't feel guilty for anything. Like for myself. But I was kind of taught that way growing up, that guilt. And the guilt's a bitch because, you know, there's a book that I also got called No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Okay.
And it's about taking care of yourself. It's not being mean to other people. It's not being inconsiderate to other people. It's realizing that you're put on this earth to live your life first, and you got to take care of yourself in order to take care of anybody else.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes.
I've done the people-pleasing role, and that's just a joke. So in my mind, this book was like, what? It doesn't mean I don't help people. It doesn't mean I don't care about people. It means that, like, if I don't like it, I don't want to do it.
Dude, if you don't put yourself first, nothing ever good is gonna happen because you have to care about yourself. You have to truly work on yourself. You have to work on the things that you want to work on, and you have to be happy, right?
Yeah.
And it's when people say, "Oh, well, fucking, you're just fucking cocky or you're full of it."
No, they say they use the word selfish.
Or selfish. There we go. That was the word. I was trying to find it. Thank you very much. You're selfish. No. I mean, there are people that are selfish for sure, right?
Sometimes I think the people that call people selfish are the selfish ones.
Sure.
Because they're trying to get something out of you that you don't want to produce. And they go, dude, you're selfish. It's like, actually, I told you I can't help you.
Yeah.
You're kind of selfish for not accepting that.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Right.
Just
you're
saying.
honest, right? So many
Just
people
saying.
are just, like you said, people pleasers, right? And so many people
and society puts a lot of guilt out there.
They do.
Our society, like a lot, I think, worldwide probably. Like there's just like this, you know, don't feel bad for who. I mean, like if you're a good person and you do good things and your intent's good and you like what I'm saying is like you know you're not doing anything bad to people and stuff. No. Like it's okay.
You have to take care of yourself first.
It's okay for who you are.
Of course.
You know? And it took me a while for that. Even though I was doing all this stuff. And listen, I brought up the stuff about the past, about the house and the 70 cents and all this shit, because all this stuff I'm talking about, like 96 on and all this climbing this shit, you know, fucking riding the wave, like what? And all this stuff's happening to like go back down it and then go, all right, what's next? Like, how did I get out of this?
Yeah.
All that's been a trip, but here's the deal. Along the way, bike riding feels the same to me. Like, how did I get out of that hard time? I hit up GoPro and I asked him for a GoPro. And I went out by myself and would shoot my own photos. And then I post them. This is cool. Instagram's cool. I used Instagram as a way to reinvent my career, my life, actually. Yeah. And then I would post like a lot of positivity. The people would be like, dude, quit preaching. It's like, dude, I'm not preaching. I'm reminding myself, you know, if you want to take it for what it is, take it. If you don't, then leave it. It's all good. And so what I did is along the way, what saved me through all of that is bike riding. I'm telling you.
Comes back to that core.
It does and that's the whole reason why I started. So.
No, that's amazing. That is amazing. And one thing I want to just kind of like piggyback real quick is like when we're talking about putting yourself first, right? And taking care of yourself first.
Yeah.
Right. When you go on an airplane, right, and you take some kids, right, what is the thing that they always say, like if shit goes down,
put it on first.
Put it on first.
Yep.
You don't put it on your kids first, even though your kids are probably more important to you than anything else in the world, right? If you can't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of anyone else.
And even if you were to take care of them first, right?
Yeah.
And you've been doing that forever and they know it, they probably wouldn't respect you.
Well, that's true too.
Because there's a thing about people pleasing that you don't respect. And I know that's in this book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, is that if you, this is what it said in the book, and I agree with it. If you people please a girl, she's going to not respect you because it sends a message that you can't even take care of yourself. Yeah. And girls look for security. Yeah. We do too. Men do too in relationships. We all do. That's why you're in a relationship. And so with that, really opened my eyes for like, whoa, I can't be there with my kids.
Yeah.
And I've caught myself being there with my kids, and I'll be like, okay, wait. Because I love them. We're not doing that today. And then you end up doing it. Because, like, damn, this is a cool thing. We got to live life. And then, but it's hard for me to be like, no. And now I'm reaching the point where I'm like,
but sometimes you have to be, man.
I know.
Yeah, you have to. Right? You can't say yes to everything.
They respect you for that.
Yeah. In the moment, they're like, fuck you, dad, right? But then the just funny thing happens as time goes on.
If you take things away, they respect you more. And so it makes me think like the next time I go to get in a relationship, because I'm going on one right now, but I've been thinking about like, my kids are going to eventually move on. Not in a bad way, but they're going to want their own life and their own
of course.
Independence.
We all do, right?
We all do, right. What's next for me? I mean, I've been single 8 years. I'm 50 years old. I'm 51. I'm tattooed. I ride bikes.
Yeah.
So hear me out. Girls don't really dig my age, dig me. They think you don't work. I'm not saying all. I'm just saying, not saying all.
I got it.
But I'm saying I had a hard time with that recently because my daughter was moving with her friends, went to hang out with her friends more, and like, where's my road dog?
Yeah.
And that was hard because I made them my everything. So I've learned to like let go and let them do their thing. But then you start thinking, well, what's next for me? Do I want to be 50, 60 years old, single?
Yeah, and alone.
But I might not be. I might be 50, 60 on the road in a punk band, tearing shit up.
There we go, right?
I'm just saying like, what's next for me?
Yeah. Because
it has been a huge sacrifice that I've chose to raise them this way.
It's your next chapter.
Yeah.
It's like you have these iterations throughout your life, right?
I think it's funny though, when you ride a bike, I'm like, yeah. People just don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most 50-year-olds fucking, it's just
I'll be at the bingo hall and shit, jumping on my bike, doing hops. What up, ladies?
Yeah. That's how you go around and get your chicks, man. No, but it's fucking crazy, right? I mean, dude, when you were younger, how did you look at 50-year-olds, right? Like, what did you
my mom always seemed old to me because she was your mom, like the parents always seem older because they're your parents. But when I look back when I was 15, it's like, my mom was like 37 maybe.
Dude,
that's not, you know what I mean? Like she would be like your age. Yeah. And I'm like, but I see you seem like a kid to me. You know what I mean? Even though you're an adult.
Yeah.
But like it just, I don't know. Like, I don't really think, I never was in a hurry to be old. Cause I believe that, I tell my kids this, don't be in a hurry to be old.
Yeah.
Cause you just want to wish to be young again.
Yeah.
Why do you want to live like that? Drinking's really not that big of a deal. It's fine. You'll be fine. You'll reach it. You'll be okay. Yeah. It's not, don't make that your priority. It just seemed like that was a way in high school. Like, can't wait, I'm 21. I legally drink. It's
you're right.
And it's cool. Like, that's your deal. But I never thought like that. I was like, oh, I'm not really in a hurry. Like, it's going to happen. Hopefully it'll happen if I'm lucky. And I'm just thinking like, and I think that's why I look young. I'm in BMX. I'm in music. I'm a fountain of youth. I think my mind thinks of like tricks and shit I'm going to do. I'm not stressing about that other shit, I guess.
Do you think your kids look at you and think you're old?
No, they know I'm not.
Exactly.
They say like, dude, some of my parents' dads. I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
You got something to look forward to.
And you had him at 36, right?
36 for her and 38 for him. And my ex-wife is hot, by the way. I will say she's Brazilian, blonde hair, blue eye Brazilian. She's absolutely, to this day, gorgeous. So my kids... My good-looking looks and hers, they're knockouts, dude.
I love that.
He's a little stud,
I love that.
But my daughter, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But now you're going through this like weird point where you have to let go, though, right?
I trust her though. I raised her really good, and she doesn't do any of the bad stuff. Yeah. kids aren't going to tell you everything.
Oh, of course not.
But I know for a fact some things that, like, there's kids that probably done way worse stuff at her age. She's a really good kid.
Yeah.
She's actually amazing. We went surfing today in Malibu.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. I fucking love that.
She kills it.
I love that, man.
But it's changes, man. It's just humans, and girls go through it quicker. My son will go through it about 15. Get a little mustache, thinking he's
shit.
King shit.
Yeah.
I'm already ready for it. I already know. I already get it.
No, but it's so cool, man, because you had your kid, you had your kids at a little bit of an older age, not young, not too old, right?
I'm glad it happened that way.
But because you got to live your life.
I did, and then they kept me young. And I don't really say older, but like
no, man, because you might be 51, but I don't look at you as a 51-year-old, right?
I just think it's like a sport. It's like us old school punk rockers and skaters and riders and stuff. I think we're just from that generation where like we're just very youthful spirits.
Yes,
Yeah. Even like you look at some punk rockers, you're like, dude, you still look fucking great.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly, right?
Dude,
I mean, dude, you even look at fucking like Paul McCartney and like those fuckers, like fucking being in their 80s and shit like that, and just like
he could afford plastic surgery and shit.
What?
He could afford facelifts.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, well, no, for sure. But beyond that, it's the spirit and the attitude, and
I think so,
right? And so like different type of music, right? But still, like I think
it's someone like Iggy Pop.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Okay, he's older and he looks older, but I don't feel like he's an old dude when I see him.
Yeah.
I feel like that's Iggy Pop, man. He's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like Billy Idol.
Yeah, exactly.
He still looks great, but like you see Billy Idol, I'm like, dude, you're fucking like Billy Idol.
And what is he, like in his 70s or whatever, right?
Yeah,
fucking,
yeah.
Can you look that up, actually, Billy Idol? How old he is? I want to see that.
Yeah, dude, he's got such good music, man.
Yeah, I think it's all how you hold yourself and present yourself.
It's your mind, though. Really,
Yeah.
like we were talking earlier, I think a lot of it has to go.
Oh, shit, he's 65. Fuck. I was completely wrong.
Well, still, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
still.
Yeah.
Still. I don't know. I got this weird thing in my head where 60s is definitely not getting old yet. I think like 70s, 80s. Like, but once again, it's like state of mind, right?
Yeah, but life goes by so fast, dude.
It does.
Like, look, it says Adamant 66, Billy Joel 71.
Yeah, but like,
Crazy.
Shit. Yeah.
Uptown Girl.
Dude, that's crazy. Okay. All right.
He had a kid at 58, I think. I think so. Google that. Let's see.
Billy Joel.
I think he had a kid at 58. Check it out.
Let's see this shit. Billy Joel, 58 years old, having a kid.
No, he had a kid at 58.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, did he have a kid at 58?
Kid at 58.
Let's see. Here we go. Billy Joel, expecting third child at age 8. Yeah, 58, 2016. 58 years old,
super
bro.
Sperm, dude. Super sperm.
Gangster right there. Look at that, man.
Dang.
But yeah, kids keep you younger, right?
They do. Wait, what's a Billy Joel song? No, what's another one? No, what's it called? Not My Life. Go on with your own life. Leave me alone. What's that song?
I don't know. I'm not good at naming songs.
Do Billy Joel songs. I covered this song, actually.
Here we go.
I did an EP where I did a Phil Collins.
Are you guys going to figure this out? As we start to wrap this up, before we wrap this up, I'm going to take a piss one more time. And then, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's my life. It's my life. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's his life. He could have kids at 58 if he wants.
Yeah, I like it.
You're good.
Boo Boo. That's Isaiah. Rest in peace, man. He's a good friend of mine. I love him.
Damn. Did you know Norm will Rise?
I did.
Yeah, did my nucks.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and for a wedding present, gave my wife and I little hearts.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace, man.
I know. I rode for Solon Clothing.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was able to meet a lot of those guys. And, that's the thing. Like, I trip out sometimes because people recognize me, and I still feel like the dude, like little dirtball kid from Kansas City. And so a lot of those people knew me from what I did. And like I said, I forgot the shit I did. It's like, oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Okay. So I go into every relationship or friendship when I meet somebody. It's like, I don't expect them to know me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
of
this
I
stuff. That. So then I made friends with a lot of those guys, like Bob Terrell, Rich Pineda, Mark Mahoney is my really good friend.
Damn.
Like, I've known him for 25 years. The Shamrock Social Club.
Yep. Yeah.
Those are all my friends. And then Big Eye the Mike, Woo.
Damn.
All those guys.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
that's so cool, man.
Roman's another one.
Yeah. I'm actually talking to Roman. Fucking come on.
He's a good dude.
I'm with. Do you know Pooch?
I do.
Yeah. I'm actually.
He's a good dude
we're
too.
doing a podcast. We're actually going to his studio to do it on the 30th.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
really
good.
Excited. Yeah, dude, fucking, he's really good. But yeah, I've been talking with Roman's assistant, and we're just agreeing on a time and date for him to come into the studio. Yeah. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. I mean, just your everything that you have done, right? It's just been fucking awesome, man, because it's been this roller coaster, but you just never have stopped. You've continued to push forward. I
just remember what it was like to have nothing. And I remember what it was like to when that stuff happened to me financially in the industry and stuff. I'd kind of already been there, but I just didn't have kids.
Yeah.
So that was like a crazy thing. But thanks. Yeah, man, you just ride it.
No, you have to. You have to. As we start to wrap this up, though, what does this next iteration look like? What the fuck are you up to now? Well, 51 years old. Like, what are you doing?
Riding, still hardcore, still learning, still riding. I have a cooking show I started with my son called Cooking with The Thornes.
What's that all about?
It's just, we bond. I believe cooking with your family is a way, or your girlfriend, or your husband, or your boyfriend, or whatever, your wife, whatever, your kids, your grandparents, whatever. You can bond with cooking. And so me and my son have bonded a lot. That's something that was ours.
Yeah.
That we want things with your kids that you have one-on-one. Listen, when you're a single parent, you have 2 kids, it's hard to accommodate for both of them being one dude.
Yeah.
So without the other one getting their feelings hurt. So you have to adjust. So we came with the show because I've always cooked. I had to when we got divorced to feed them. And then I learned that I was cooking stuff, but the same thing over and over. So then when we started the show, we started to make our own sauces, our own everything from scratch. I'd never done it. He had never done it. Then he's doing shit I didn't think I ever do. Yo, Dad, check out these chicken wings. Like, what? You made these hot wings and shit? Yeah. He made them on his own, bro. And I'm like, what? This is sick. It's just something we're doing right now. Hopefully it can go somewhere. But also my band, Good Guys in Black. New song, Invincible, is on Sirius XM, which I'm fucking stoked about.
Good job, man.
Thank you. And then as far as that, with sponsors, I got, I mentioned signature stuff here and there. I'm always working with sponsors. And I just did a movie during COVID with Andy Dick and what's her name? Eric Roberts.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. I'm always doing stuff, creating stuff, nonstop busy. You know what I mean? And just riding alone, and keeping all your opportunities open, and working on some other stuff with these other companies. A Signature e-bike.
I love that. I'm
working on this company right now where they make portable ramps. Little ramps, kickers and shit.
Oh, shit.
So we're working on some signature line with them. I can't say who it is, but
okay. Right.
Yeah, because nothing is set at all. But these are just tentative things. So I'm always hustling, from I feel like I became my own brand and my own lifestyle brand. And so I could go into different things. I was doing stand-up comedy for a while right before COVID. It's the best.
I love that.
It's the best. It's the best. Oh, my gosh.
You ever bombed?
Yeah. That's how you learn. Dude, you realize right off the bat, jokes that you do with your friends don't fucking work in a crowd of people that don't know you. Do you know what I mean? You're like, wait. Oh, sorry. That was my kid. I was like, wait. This shit, I'm fucking bombing. And then you just start to figure it out. I got to do Kill Tony. Do you know Kill Tony?
Yeah, of course.
I got to be a guest, bro.
No way. That's awesome.
And all those dudes, we're all know each other, but I didn't know them, right? And they knew me, and then we all meshed. And then my buddy works at the Comedy Store, so I was able to sit up above the audience and watch the comedians and study them and go back meet Bill Burr and Tom Segura and
Rogan.
It's amazing, dude. It's amazing. So I'm into this. I got to perform at the Comedy Store, and I got to do Kill Tony. It's hard on Kill Tony, dude, because if you're a comedian that tells 2 or 3 jokes, one-liners, it's perfect. It's a minute.
Yeah.
But I talk and build up to a joke. It's hard.
Yeah.
To get a minute in, But they were nice to me.
They gave you the opportunity.
I was stoked, bro. So anyways, to answer your question, all the above.
I love that.
And I got a podcast. I just interviewed Sin Dog for my podcast, which was cool.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. What's the podcast called?
The Rick Thorne Show.
Nice.
But I do it here's the deal with me with podcasts. I need to get past this. I did one ESPN for years, right? And then when that ended, podcast was new, and everyone's like, this is before it was this easy to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And I started it, but I was discouraged because I wasn't making any money at it.
Yeah.
After I was making money at it. and I just didn't do it.
No, I get that.
I know it sounds stupid, but now I'm like, I do my podcast when it works in my schedule because I edit it all myself. And that, so with everything that I have, I try to do one a month. It's not that much, but I try.
Perfect. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And where can people watch it?
Just
listen.
Spotify.
Perfect.
All of it. Good Guys in Black, same thing. So
I love that, man.
Thank you for the opportunity to listen to my fucking crazy story.
Man, I absolutely love it. It's been a blast. I had no idea that you lived so close. We definitely got to get together, man. We got to go riding fucking e-bikes.
Let's do it, dude.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Awesome.
All right. Yeah. Thank you again, man. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Let's just keep on rocking.
Cool, brother. All right, man. Stay rad.
Woo! All right. Boom. Wowzers. Thank you so much for watching the podcast. I really want to thank Rick for coming on to share his story. If you guys really like the episode and you want to watch more, don't forget to subscribe. Hit my head. You see my head? Hit that mother right there. And don't forget, the man, the myth, the legend, Mikey Taylor was on last week. If you didn't get a chance to watch it. Click right there. Have a good night, people. Peace.